What if I told you that you've been practicing English with only half of the system that fluent speakers actually use? For years, you've trained your memory, you've trained your vocabulary, you've trained your grammar, but the one thing that actually speaks has never been trained: your body. Every fluent English speaker has something you can't see. Their hands, their breathing, their facial expressions, their mouth, and their voice all move together as one automatic system. They don't fight the language, their body already knows where the words are going. Most learners never build that system. That's why English feels heavy, slow, and exhausting, no matter how many words they know. Today, you're about to discover the missing piece that turns English from something you remember into something your body naturally does. Welcome to the English Body Movement Method, published by English Mindset Academy. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Why your body freezes even when your mind knows the words. You know the word, you know the sentence, you may even hear the correct English clearly inside your mind. But when it is time to speak, your body becomes still, your jaw tightens, your breathing becomes shallow, your voice loses strength, and the words suddenly feel difficult to release. This is not always a vocabulary problem. Sometimes your mind has learned English, but your body has not learned how to carry it. Speaking is a physical action. Your breath creates the energy, your voice carries the sound, your tongue and lips shape the words, your face shows emotion, your hands often help organize meaning. When these parts work together, English feels natural. When they freeze, even simple sentences can feel heavy. Think about your first language. When you tell a story, your hands move without permission, your face changes, your voice rises and falls, your body helps the meaning come alive. But in English, many learners do the opposite. They become completely still. They hold their breath. They force every word through the mind. They try so hard to be correct that the body stops helping. That is why English may feel easier when you are alone. In private, your shoulders are relaxed, your breathing is natural, and your mouth is free to experiment. But when someone starts listening, your body begins protecting you from mistakes. The language is still there. The body has simply entered fear. This chapter will teach you how to reverse that response. The first step is to understand that movement can support memory. Take the word increase. Move one hand upward while saying it. Now say, "The price increased last month." Your body can feel the direction of the word. Take reduce. Bring your hands closer together. Say, "We need to reduce unnecessary work." Take together. Bring both hands toward each other. Say, "We solved the problem together." The gesture gives the word a shape. Now the word is not only connected to a translation, it is connected to movement, direction, and feeling. That extra connection can make it easier to remember while speaking. You can do the same with phrases. When you say, "Let me explain," open one hand naturally. When you say, "There are two reasons," show two fingers. When you say, "On one side, but on the other side," place one idea to your left and the other to your right. When you say, "The main point is," use one clear downward gesture. These movements help your mind organize the sentence. They also make your voice sound more natural because the body is supporting the message. Movement does not mean waving your hands constantly. It does not mean acting dramatically. The goal is not performance. The goal is connection. A small gesture is enough. Suppose you want to tell a short story. First, I called the company. Then I explained the problem. Finally, they offered a solution. Use one small forward movement for each stage. Your body now helps you remember the order. Suppose you want to compare two options. The first option is faster, but the second one is safer. Place the first idea on one side and the second on the other. Your hands help your brain keep the contrast clear. Suppose you want to express a feeling. I felt disappointed because I had trusted that person. Bring one hand closer to your chest and slow your voice slightly. The sentence becomes easier to feel, not only say. Breathing is also part of the method. Many learners begin a long sentence with too little air. The voice becomes weak before the thought is complete, and they assume the English has failed. But sometimes the breath failed first. Before speaking, relax your shoulders and take one calm breath. Then say the sentence at a steady speed. I started learning English because I wanted to communicate more confidently. Do not rush the first words. Let the breath carry the whole thought. This simple adjustment can make your English sound smoother immediately. Your posture matters too. A closed body sends the message, "This is dangerous." A relaxed body sends the message, "I am allowed to communicate." Lift your head slightly, relax your jaw, keep your chest open. Allow your hands to move when the meaning needs them. You do not need to look perfectly confident. You only need to stop physically hiding from the sentence. Try this short practice. Choose 5 useful words. Start, stop, increase, reduce, together. Create one simple movement for each word. Say the word 5 times with the movement, then place it in a sentence. We need to start now. Please stop for a moment. The number is increasing. We need to reduce the cost. We can solve this together. After that, choose 3 useful speaking phrases. The main reason is, let me explain. There are 2 important points. Add a small gesture to each phrase and repeat them aloud. This is how your body begins building English memory. At first, the movement may feel unusual. That is normal. Your body may have spent years staying still during English practice. Give it permission to participate. Over time, you will need less conscious effort. The movements may become smaller, but the memory will remain. You will begin to feel the sentence before you finish planning it. Your breath will support the thought. Your hands will help organize the meaning. Your face and voice will carry the emotion. English will stop feeling like information trapped inside your head. It will begin feeling like something your whole body knows how to do. That is the first step of the English body movement method. Do not force every word through the brain alone. Give the language movement. Give it breath. Give it physical memory. Your mind may already know the English. Now it is time to teach your body how to speak it. Chapter 2. Give every English word a physical meaning. Most learners try to remember English by repeating words inside the mind. They see a word, read its meaning, repeat it several times, and hope it will appear later during a conversation. Sometimes it does, but often the word feels familiar while reading and completely unavailable when speaking. This happens because recognition is not the same as speaking memory. You may recognize the word hesitate in a book, understand it in a video, and even know its translation, but when you need it during a real conversation, your mouth cannot find it quickly enough. The word entered your memory as information, but it never became an action your body could feel. The English body movement method changes this by giving important words a physical meaning. Instead of learning the word only through explanation, you connect it to a movement, expression, direction, or emotional reaction. The word no longer lives in one place inside your mind. It becomes connected to your hands, face, posture, breath, and voice. Take the word hesitate. Move your hand forward as though you are about to act, then pause halfway. Say, I hesitated before answering the question. The movement shows the meaning. Your body begins understanding that hesitation is the space between wanting to act and actually acting. Now take the word confident. Open your posture slightly, lift your head, and say, I want to speak English more confidently. Do not pretend to be an actor. Simply allow your body to express the meaning honestly. Now take avoid. Move your hand away from something while saying, I used to avoid English conversations. The word now has direction. Take accept. Bring your hand gently toward yourself. I learned to accept my mistakes. Take release. Open your hand as if you are letting something go. I need to release the fear of speaking. Each movement creates another route toward the word. When your mind cannot retrieve the vocabulary directly, the physical memory may help bring the meaning closer. This is why movement can make words feel more available. The body is not replacing memory, it is strengthening it. You can see this principle in everyday life. You may forget the name of a song, but your fingers remember its rhythm. You may not consciously remember every step of a familiar journey, but your body knows when to turn. You may struggle to explain how to perform a task, yet your hands can do it naturally. The body stores repeated experience differently from isolated information. Your goal is to make English feel less like a list you studied and more like an experience you have lived. Imagine you are learning the word expand. You could read, expand means to become larger or to make something larger. You may understand it, but the meaning remains flat. Now slowly move your hands apart while saying, my vocabulary is expanding. Then say, I want to expand this idea. Then, the company plans to expand into new markets. Your hands feel the meaning growing outward. The same physical idea now supports several sentences. Try the opposite word, shrink. Move your hands closer together. My confidence shrinks when I compare myself with fluent speakers. Now the contrast between expand and shrink is not only intellectual, your body can feel the difference. Opposite movements are especially useful because they build clear memory pairs. Increase and decrease, open and close, accept and reject, together and separate. Forward and backward. Rise and fall, give and receive. Remember and forget. You can practice both words with opposite gestures so the meaning becomes easier to retrieve. For example, prices are increasing. Move upward. Sales are decreasing. Move downward. I accepted the invitation. Bring the hand toward yourself. I rejected the offer. Move the hand away. You are building a physical dictionary. This does not mean you must use the same movement forever. The gesture is a learning tool. Its purpose is to make the meaning stronger until the word becomes naturally available. Later, the movement may become smaller. During a real conversation, you may barely notice your hand moving, but the physical memory remains connected to the word. Movement becomes even more useful with phrases because fluent speech is not built from single words alone. Learners often know vocabulary but still speak slowly because they construct every sentence word by word. Useful phrases can reduce this pressure, especially when they are connected to natural movements. Say, the main reason is. Use one clear gesture that brings attention to a central point. Say, let me give you an example. Open your hand as though you are presenting something. Say, on the other hand, move the idea gently to the opposite side. Say, as a result, move your hand forward to show consequence. Say, I completely agree. Use a firm, natural nod. Say, I see it differently. Use a small separating gesture. When you repeat the phrase with the same meaningful movement, your body begins learning the complete pattern. During conversation, you no longer need to create each word separately. The movement can help release the whole phrase. Suppose someone asks, do you think people should work from home? You could begin with, I think, maybe, because. The sentence feels uncertain because you are building it from nothing. But if your body knows the pattern, the main reason is, you can begin. I prefer working from home. The main reason is that I can concentrate without constant interruption. The gesture helps you enter the explanation with direction. Then use another pattern. On the other hand, office work can be better for teamwork. Your body places the contrasting idea in a different physical space. Now you are not only speaking English, you are organizing thought through movement. This is one reason natural gestures can improve longer answers. They give ideas a position. The past can live behind you. The future can move forward. The first option can stay on one side. The second option can stay on the other. A problem can appear in front of you. A solution can move through it. Suppose you are telling a story. Last year I applied for a new job. Gesture slightly behind you to place the event in the past. At first I felt confident. Use an open posture. But during the interview, I forgot several important words. Let the body show a small collapse or uncertainty. After that experience, I started practicing my answers aloud. Move forward. Now I can respond more calmly. Return to a relaxed posture. The body helps you remember the journey of the story. This is especially helpful for learners who lose the order of events. Instead of holding the complete sequence only in the mind, you physically move through it. Emotion also needs movement. Many learners speak emotionally important sentences with a completely neutral face and voice because they are concentrating on grammar. The words may be correct, but the sentence feels disconnected. Consider, I was extremely disappointed. If you say it with a bright voice and no expression, the body disagrees with the language. Now allow the face and voice to carry the feeling naturally. You do not need dramatic acting. A slower tone and a small change in expression are enough. Say, I was extremely disappointed because I had trusted that person. The meaning becomes easier to feel and remember because your whole system is communicating it. Try. I was relieved when the problem was finally solved. Let the shoulders relax slightly. I was surprised by the result. Allow the face to respond. I felt proud because I completed it by myself. Let the voice carry quiet confidence. Emotional movement strengthens speaking because memory is often connected to feeling. You may forget a sentence you memorized without emotion, but remember something connected to a real experience for years. Use this when learning new vocabulary. Do not only ask, what does this word mean? Also ask, what does this word feel like? What direction does it have? What expression belongs with it? What situation would make my body react this way? Take frustrated. Think of trying repeatedly and failing to make progress. Let your hands show blocked movement. Say, I felt frustrated because the same problem kept returning. Take relieved. Imagine pressure leaving your body. Say, I felt relieved when I heard the good news. Take uncertain. Use a gentle side-to-side movement. Say, I am uncertain about which option is better. Now the vocabulary becomes connected to human experience rather than only translation. You should not create random gestures that have no relationship to the word. The movement must make sense to you. A useful gesture creates meaning immediately. For protect, you might place your hand in front of something. For support, you might hold one hand under the other. For connect, you might bring two fingers or hands together. For control, you might make a steady holding movement. For escape, you might move your hand away quickly. Your movement does not need to match another learner's movement. It only needs to create a clear connection inside your own memory. You can build this skill through a simple 5-word routine. Choose 5 words you truly need in your daily speaking. Do not choose random vocabulary simply because it sounds advanced. Perhaps you often need explain, compare, improve, struggle, and decide. Create a natural movement for each one. For explain, open your hand as though you are making something visible. I want to explain my idea clearly. For compare, place one hand on each side. Let us compare the two options. For improve, move the hand gradually upward. My pronunciation is improving. For struggle, show effort with a small resistant movement. I still struggle to speak under pressure. For decide, bring the hand down firmly. I decided to practice every day. Repeat each word with the movement, then use it in 3 different sentences. This gives the word flexibility. Do not memorize only one sentence because your mind may connect the word too narrowly. Use it in personal, professional, and everyday situations. For example, with improve. I want to improve my speaking. The weather improved in the afternoon. We need to improve the system. The upward physical meaning remains while the context changes. Next, connect 2 movement words inside one sentence. Mabidat play one finans. I struggled at first, but gradually I improved. Show resistance, then upward progress. I compared the options and decided to choose the second one. Show 2 sides, then a firm decision. I explained the problem, and together we found a solution. Present the problem, bring the hands together, then move forward. These combinations begin building speaking flow. Your body learns not only words, but transitions between meanings. This method can also help pronunciation because movement encourages rhythm and stress. Choose the key word in a sentence and allow one small gesture to fall on it. Say, I need to make a decision today. The movement falls on decision. Say, the main problem is communication. The gesture emphasizes main. Say, I completely agree with you. The nod and stress work together. English does not give equal strength to every word. Important words receive more stress. Natural gesture often follows that stress automatically. When you connect movement with the key word, your sentence begins sounding less flat. Do not move on every word. That can become distracting. Move on meaning. One gesture may support an entire phrase. For example, I have 3 reasons for choosing this option. Show 3 fingers once. Then explain each reason with small changes. First, it is more affordable. Second, it is easier to manage. Third, it gives us more time. The body creates a clear structure that both you and the listener can follow. This is especially valuable when you become nervous. A familiar physical structure can guide the answer even when vocabulary feels slow. Imagine you are asked an unexpected question during a meeting. Instead of freezing, you say, I see 2 main problems. Show 2 fingers. The first problem is cost. Place it on one side. The second is the limited amount of time. Place it on the other. I think we should solve the time problem first because it affects everything else. Bring attention toward the second side, then move forward. Your body has helped you create an organized answer without memorizing a script. The method should make speaking easier, not more complicated. Do not try to invent gestures while someone is waiting. Build useful movements during practice, then allow them to appear naturally. Start with words and phrases that organize communication. First, next, finally, because, however, together, different, important, increase, reduce, agree, disagree, past, future, problem, and solution. These words appear in many conversations. A physical connection to them can support hundreds of sentences. You can also use objects around you. Touch or point to real items while naming them. Open a door while saying open. Close it while saying close. Pick something up while saying lift. Place it down while saying put it down. Move closer while saying approach. Step back while saying move away. The more real the action, the stronger the memory can become. For abstract words, create symbolic movements. Opportunity may be an open hand toward a new direction. Responsibility may be a hand close to the chest. Freedom may be open arms or outward movement. Pressure may be 2 hands moving inward. Progress may be a steady forward movement. Again, use movements that feel natural to you. At the end of your practice, close your eyes and perform the movement without saying the word. See whether the word appears. Then reverse the exercise. Say the word and notice whether your body remembers the movement. When both directions become easy, the connection is becoming stronger. You can also test yourself in complete speech. Choose one topic and speak for 1 minute using 5 movement words. For example, the topic is your English journey. At first, I struggled to speak because I was afraid of mistakes. Then I decided to practice aloud every day. Gradually, my confidence improved. I can now explain my thoughts more clearly, but I still want to increase my speaking speed. Your movements guide struggle, decision, improvement, explanation, and increase. Record yourself and observe whether the gestures support the meaning or look forced. Keep the useful ones. Simplify the unnecessary ones. Your goal is not perfect body language. Your goal is physical memory that helps your words arrive. Over time, something important begins to change. You stop meeting English only through your eyes. You begin experiencing it through the whole body. A word has a shape. A phrase has a rhythm. An idea has a direction. A feeling has an expression. A sentence becomes something you perform naturally rather than something you assemble nervously. This is how speaking memory becomes stronger. The word is no longer waiting alone inside a vocabulary list. It is connected to breath, movement, tone, emotion, and use. So when you learn your next English word, do not only write it down. Stand up. Give it a direction. Give it a gesture. Place it inside a real sentence. Let your voice carry its feeling. Use it until your body recognizes the meaning before your mind translates it. English becomes easier to speak when it stops being only something you know. It must become something you can physically feel. Chapter 3. Turn body movement into complete English sentences. Learning a single word with movement is useful, but real speaking does not happen one word at a time. In conversation, your body must help you carry a complete thought from the first word to the final meaning. This is where many learners struggle. They may remember vocabulary, they may know the grammar, they may even understand the question clearly, but when they begin answering, every word feels separate. The sentence has no physical rhythm, no direction, and no natural movement. The learner searches, pauses, restarts, and slowly loses the thought. The problem is not always that the sentence is too difficult. Sometimes the sentence has never been practiced as one complete action. Think about a familiar movement, such as opening a door. Your body does not treat reaching for the handle, turning it, pulling the door, and walking through as 4 unrelated actions. Repetition has connected them into one smooth sequence. English sentences can be developed in the same way. Instead of practicing individual words and hoping they connect naturally later, you can teach your body the movement of the complete message. Take this sentence. I want to improve my English because I need more confidence at work. Do not say it while your body remains completely still. Give the thought a simple physical path. Bring one hand closer to yourself on, I want to improve my English. Move the hand forward while saying, because I need more confidence. Then place the final idea firmly in front of you, at work. The movement is not a performance. It is a path that helps your body understand where the sentence begins, how it develops, and where it lands. Say the sentence again. This time, do not think about every separate word. Feel the message moving through 3 stages: personal goal, reason, real-life result. That is how a sentence begins becoming physical memory. Many learners repeat sentences with the same flat voice and the same frozen posture. They may pronounce every word correctly, but the sentence still feels difficult because the body has not learned the meaning as a whole. When you add natural movement, your body begins recognizing the shape of the thought. An opinion may move outward. A reason may move forward. A contrast may shift to another side. A conclusion may come down firmly. A memory may move slightly behind you. A future plan may move ahead. These simple directions can help you organize longer speech without memorizing every line. Suppose someone asks, "Why did you start learning English?" Your answer could be, "I started learning English because I wanted better opportunities, but later I realized that the language also gave me more confidence." This sentence contains 3 movements. The past, I started learning English. The reason, because I wanted better opportunities. The change, but later I realized that the language also gave me more confidence. You can gesture slightly backward for the beginning, move forward for the opportunities, and bring the final idea closer to yourself for confidence. Now the sentence is not only stored as grammar, it has a physical journey. This becomes especially helpful when a sentence contains contrast. Take. I understand English well, but I still struggle to speak under pressure. Place the first idea on one side. I understand English well. Place the second idea on the other. But I still struggle to speak under pressure. Your hands create two clear spaces. The mind no longer has to hold both ideas in the same invisible place. Try another. Studying alone is comfortable, but real conversations make you faster. One side represents comfort, the other represents growth. The body helps the contrast feel clear before the grammar is fully automatic. This is why gestures can support sentence structure. Words such as but, because, so, although, first, then, and finally all create relationships between ideas. When your body shows that relationship, the sentence becomes easier to follow. Take the sentence, I was nervous, so I prepared my answer before the meeting. Begin with a smaller closed movement on. I was nervous, then move forward with purpose on. So I prepared my answer. Finish with a clear location on. Before the meeting. The body now carries emotion, response, and time. You can practice sentence patterns in this way until the structure becomes familiar. Consider, I used to avoid speaking, but now I practice every day. The past can move behind you. The change can move forward. The final action can settle in the present. Repeat the same structure with different meanings. I used to translate every sentence, but now I focus on the message. I used to speak very softly, but now I allow my voice to be heard. I used to stop after mistakes, but now I recover and continue. Your body learns the deeper pattern. Past habit, contrast, new behavior. You are not memorizing only 3 sentences. You are teaching your speaking system how change is expressed. Another useful pattern is problem, action, result. For example, I kept forgetting new words, so I connected them with gestures, and now I remember them more easily. Show the problem with a small blocked movement. Show the action with your hands becoming active. Show the result with a smooth forward gesture. Now change the content. I spoke too quickly, so I slowed my breathing, and now my sentences sound clearer. I became lost in long answers, so I divided my ideas, and now I speak with more control. I felt nervous around fluent speakers, so I practiced with short conversations, and now I recover more calmly. The body begins recognizing a repeatable sentence path. This is important because learners often think fluency means producing completely new language every second. In reality, fluent speakers use familiar thought patterns repeatedly. The content changes, but the internal movement remains. They explain causes, they compare ideas, they describe changes, they give examples, they move from problem to solution, they connect past, present, and future. Your body can help make these movements automatic. Suppose you want to explain a process. Your sentence path may be first, next, then, finally. Use one small forward movement for each stage. First, I listen to the sentence carefully. Next, I repeat it with the same rhythm. Then, I add a natural gesture. Finally, I use it in my own situation. The movements support order. Now practice with a daily routine. First, I review yesterday's words. Next, I practice 5 sentences aloud. Then, I record one short answer. Finally, I listen and improve one mistake. You are teaching your body how to carry sequence. Later, during storytelling or professional explanations, this physical structure can help the ideas arrive in the correct order. Suppose you need to explain a difficult experience. First, I noticed the problem. Then, I tried to solve it alone. After that, I asked for help. Finally, we found a better solution. The grammar is simple, but the explanation is clear because the body and language move together. Another powerful sentence path is idea, reason, example. For example, body movement makes English easier to remember because it gives every word a physical connection. For example, moving your hands apart can help you remember the meaning of expand. Use one gesture for the idea. Move forward for the reason. Present the example with an open hand. Practice another. Speaking aloud is important because silent knowledge does not always appear during conversation. For example, you may recognize a word while reading but fail to produce it when someone asks a question. The body helps you feel when one stage has ended and the next must begin. This reduces the habit of speaking in circles. Learners often lose sentences because they add ideas without showing where those ideas belong. Everything remains inside one invisible space. The reason mixes with the example. The conclusion appears too early. The speaker forgets the original message. Movement creates boundaries. One area can represent the main idea. Another can represent the example. A final position can represent the conclusion. Imagine you are answering, Is technology helping people communicate? You might say, technology makes communication faster because people can connect instantly from different countries. However, it can also make conversations feel less personal when people depend only on messages. Place the benefit on one side, place the problem on the other. Your body now holds the balance between both ideas. Then bring your hands toward the center for the conclusion. The real effect depends on how we use it. This creates a physical map for the complete answer. You can use the same method when expressing two feelings at once. I was excited about the opportunity, but I was also afraid of failing. One hand represents excitement, the other represents fear. Then bring them together. Both feelings were present when I made the decision. The body helps the emotional complexity remain organized. This is especially valuable for learners who reduce every answer because they are afraid of losing control. When the body gives the sentence structure, you can express more without carrying every connection only inside the mind. Your voice should also follow the movement. When the idea moves forward, the voice should not remain weak and uncertain. When the sentence creates contrast, the voice should help the listener feel the difference. Say, I wanted to continue, but the pressure was becoming unhealthy. Stress but slightly. Shift the body from one side to the other. Now the transition feels clear. Say, I practiced every day, so my response became faster. Allow so to move the sentence toward the result. Say, although I was nervous, I completed the presentation. Let the first part carry difficulty, then let the final part sound stronger. English rhythm is not separate from meaning. The voice, breath, and body should move in the same direction. Do not exaggerate. A small change is enough. A slight pause before the important word. A natural stress on the result. A gentle shift in posture when the idea changes. These physical signals can help your own mind as much as they help the listener. They tell your speaking system, the first idea is complete. Now the contrast begins. Here is the result. This is the final point. One of the best exercises for this chapter is sentence mapping. Choose one sentence with 3 parts. For example, I felt nervous before the interview, but I focused on one clear message, and that helped me answer more calmly. Now identify the 3 meanings: nervousness, action, result. Choose one natural movement for each. Do not write a complicated performance. Keep it simple. Repeat the sentence slowly 3 times, then look away from the text and reproduce the meaning through movement first. Allow the words to follow. If you forget the exact sentence but express the same meaning clearly, the exercise has still succeeded. You are learning speaking, not acting from memory. For example, you may say, I was nervous before the interview, but I concentrated on one important idea, and this made my answer calmer. The wording changed, but the sentence path remained. This is a powerful sign of real fluency. You are no longer depending on one memorized version. Your body remembers the meaning, so your mouth can rebuild the language. Try another. I used to forget new vocabulary, so I began practicing words with movements, and now they come faster during conversations. The 3 parts are: old problem, new method, improved result. Repeat it with movement, then change the subject while keeping the structure. I used to lose long sentences, so I began dividing them into smaller ideas, and now I finish them more clearly. I used to speak too softly, so I started practicing with a stronger voice, and now people understand me more easily. The physical structure becomes reusable. You can also practice question and answer movement. Ask, why are you learning English? Before answering, let your hands show the path of the response. Personal reason, real life need, future result. Then say, I am learning English because I want to communicate independently, and this will give me more freedom in my work and daily life. Ask, what is your biggest speaking problem? Show the current problem, the cause, and the desired change. My biggest problem is freezing under pressure because I monitor every word. I want to learn how to stay focused on meaning instead. Ask, what has improved recently? Show the past and present. My confidence has improved because I now practice speaking aloud instead of studying silently. The goal is not to prepare fixed answers for every possible question. It is to train a few complete thought movements that can support many answers. Another useful practice is to walk while speaking. Take a slow step for each new part of the sentence. For example, I had a problem. Step. I tried one solution. Step. It did not work. Step. So I changed the plan. Step. The second method was successful. The walking rhythm helps the body feel progression. Do not use this in every conversation. Use it during practice to teach your system how thoughts move forward. You can also use a small table or desk to place ideas physically. Put one object on the left for the first option. Put another on the right for the second. Explain the difference aloud. The first option is cheaper, but it will take longer. The second option is more expensive, but it gives us a faster result. Then move one object forward as you choose. I would choose the second option because time is more important in this situation. You have created a visible and physical argument. This method can be especially useful for learners who understand complex ideas but struggle to organize them in English. The body reduces mental overload by giving ideas a place. You should also practice sentence endings. Many learners begin with movement but become physically weak near the end. The hands drop, the breath disappears, and the sentence fades before the final meaning arrives. Train your body to land the thought. Say, "The main reason I practice every day is to become more comfortable in real conversations." Keep enough breath for the ending. Use one firm but natural gesture on real conversations. Do not rush the final words. Try, "I do not need perfect English. I need English that helps me express myself clearly." Let the final word land. Try. Movement is useful because it turns language from information into action. Allow action to feel complete. The body should know when the sentence is finished. This creates stronger speaking rhythm and helps you avoid fading into uncertain endings. Record yourself and listen only to the final 3 words of each sentence. Do they sound clear? Do they have enough breath? Does your voice settle naturally, or do they become quiet and rushed? Many learners focus only on how sentences begin, but the listener often remembers how the message ends. Use movement to support the landing. A small downward gesture can create completion. A pause afterward can give the thought space. Do not immediately add unnecessary words because silence feels uncomfortable. Finish the sentence. Let it stand. Then begin the next thought. This is how movement builds not only memory but control. As you practice, avoid turning gestures into another grammar test. Do not ask, "Was that the perfect movement?" There is no perfect movement. Ask, "Did the movement help me feel the meaning? Did it make the sentence easier to remember? Did it help me organize the ideas? Did it support my voice and breath?" Keep what helps, remove what distracts. Your body is not following a strict system created by someone else. You are building personal physical connections that make English more available to you. Over time, the movements will become less deliberate. You will naturally open your hand when presenting an idea. You will separate 2 options physically. You will move forward while describing progress. You will slow down when explaining emotion. You will use your breath more effectively across longer thoughts. The body will stop waiting for instructions. That is the goal. At first you create the movement. Later the movement helps create the sentence. Eventually, both appear together. This is how speaking begins to feel automatic. English is no longer a line of words you must assemble under pressure. It becomes a complete action your body already understands. From today, stop practicing only vocabulary lists and isolated sentences. Practice complete thought movements. Give the sentence a beginning. Give the reason a direction. Give the contrast its own space. Give the conclusion a landing. Let your hands organize what your mind is trying to carry. Let your breath support the full message. Let your voice follow the meaning instead of remaining flat. The more often you repeat English as a complete physical action, the less you will depend on conscious word-by-word control. Your body will begin recognizing the sentence before every word has been planned. And once the body recognizes the path, your mouth will have a much easier time following it all the way to the end. Chapter 4. Use movement to bring English back under pressure. Body movement becomes most valuable at the exact moment when English usually disappears. It is easy to remember a word while sitting alone with a notebook, but real speaking does not always happen in a calm room. It happens when someone suddenly asks you a question, when several people are listening, when you need to explain something quickly, or when you feel that the conversation is moving faster than your mind can follow. In those moments, the English you know may become difficult to access because pressure changes the way your entire body behaves. Your shoulders become tight, your jaw becomes stiff, your breathing becomes shorter, and your hands stop moving naturally. The body sends a powerful message to the mind. This situation is dangerous, so do not take risks. As soon as that message appears, your attention moves away from communication and towards self-protection. Instead of thinking about what you want to say, you begin checking how you sound. whether your grammar is correct, whether the listener is becoming impatient, and whether the next word will arrive on time. The more you monitor yourself, the less mental space remains for the sentence. This is why pressure can make a learner forget words they have used many times before. The vocabulary has not disappeared from memory. The body has simply entered a state that makes natural access more difficult. The solution is not always to search harder inside the mind. Sometimes the fastest way back to English is to change what the body is doing. Imagine that someone asks, "Why do you disagree with this decision?" You understand the question, but the answer does not begin. Your body becomes still because you are waiting for the perfect first sentence. Instead of remaining frozen, allow one small movement to create the direction of the answer. Open one hand slightly and say, "I understand the reason behind the decision." Then move the other hand into a different position and continue. "But I am concerned about the effect it may have on the team." The body has created two spaces, understanding and concern. Once those spaces exist, your mind no longer needs to hold the entire contrast invisibly. You may then bring one hand forward and add, "The current plan may save time now, but it could create greater pressure later." The movement supports the relationship between the immediate benefit and the future problem. You have not memorized a speech. You have used physical direction to help your mind organize a real response. This is one of the deepest strengths of the English body movement method. Movement does not only help you remember vocabulary, it helps you remain connected to meaning when pressure tries to pull your attention away. When learners freeze, they often make the mistake of becoming even more physically controlled. They press their hands together, stop breathing naturally, and force the mouth to produce a sentence while the rest of the body remains locked. They believe that complete stillness will help them concentrate, but the stillness often increases the feeling of danger. The body becomes a closed room where English has no space to move. The next time you feel this happening, do not immediately force a sentence. First, release one area of tension. Lower your shoulders, relax the jaw, and allow a quiet breath to enter. Then choose one small gesture connected to the main meaning. If the answer is about a problem, place the problem in front of you. If the answer is about two choices, give each choice a different side. If the answer is about the past, move one hand slightly backward. If the answer is about a future goal, move forward. If the answer is personal, bring the meaning closer to your chest. These movements do not need to be visible or dramatic. Even a small physical shift can give the thought a direction. Suppose someone asks, "What was the most difficult part of learning English for you?" You may have many possible answers, but pressure makes them arrive at the same time. Your mind tries to choose between vocabulary, pronunciation, confidence, listening, grammar, and real conversations. Instead of searching for the most impressive answer, place one hand close to your body and say, "For me, the hardest part was speaking while other people were listening." Now the main idea has a physical and verbal center. You can then move outward and explain, "When I practiced alone, I felt comfortable, but during real conversations, I became too aware of every mistake." Finally, use a calmer forward gesture and land the thought, "I improved when I stopped trying to sound perfect and focused on completing one clear message." The body has helped you move through personal experience, contrast, and conclusion. Without this physical path, the answer may have remained trapped as several competing ideas. Movement also helps when you lose a word in the middle of a sentence. Many learners freeze because they keep searching for one exact vocabulary item. Their body stops, their eyes move away, and the whole conversation begins waiting for that word. The missing word becomes larger than the message. Imagine that you want to say, "The instructions were confusing," but confusing does not appear. Your hands can show the meaning before the word returns. Move them in two different directions and say, "The instructions were not clear, and different people understood them in different ways." The body expresses disorder while your language explains it. The original word is no longer necessary because the meaning has survived. Suppose you forget generous, you can open your hands and say, "He is the kind of person who shares what he has and helps people without expecting something back." The gesture supports giving, and the sentence carries the full idea. Suppose pressure disappears. Bring both hands inward slightly and say, "I felt as though too many responsibilities were closing in on me at the same time." The physical feeling helps you describe the concept without waiting helplessly for one label. This is why learning with movement creates speaking flexibility. You are not dependent on one word because the meaning exists in several forms: gesture, direction, emotion, explanation, and voice. When one route is blocked, another remains available. The body can also help when someone interrupts you. Interruption is difficult for many learners because the sentence was being held through conscious effort. When the listener asks a question or another person begins speaking, that fragile structure disappears. After the interruption, the learner remembers the topic but cannot remember where the sentence was going. A physical anchor can protect the main idea. Suppose you are explaining 2 reasons for changing your routine. You hold up 2 fingers and begin, "There were 2 main reasons." You explain the first, then someone interrupts with a question. After answering, your hand can return to the second finger and remind both you and the listener that 1 point remains. You can say, "The second reason was that my old routine gave me no time to recover." The gesture has stored the unfinished structure. The same method works with comparisons. You place the first option on your left and the second on your right. If the conversation moves away temporarily, returning to the physical space can help you recover the contrast. You may say, "Returning to the second option, it costs more, but it gives us greater control." Your body becomes a map that remains available even when the exact words disappear. This is extremely useful in meetings, presentations, interviews, and longer conversations because those situations require you to hold several ideas while also listening and responding. You cannot always depend on memory alone. Physical organization reduces mental pressure by placing some of the structure outside the mind. You can practice this through a simple 3-point answer method. Choose any question and decide that your answer will contain 3 ideas. Show 3 fingers at the beginning, then connect 1 movement to each point. For example, ask yourself, what helps someone become a confident English speaker? You might answer, 3 things make the biggest difference. First, regular speaking practice teaches the mouth to respond faster. Second, accepting mistakes prevents fear from stopping the conversation. Third, listening carefully helps the body copy natural rhythm and pronunciation. Each point receives a physical place. If you lose the wording of the third idea, the final finger reminds you that the answer is not complete. You can simplify the language and still finish. Now try, what are the main problems in my English routine? You might say, the first problem is that I study too much silently. The second is that I do not review useful phrases enough. The third is that I avoid conversations when I feel tired or nervous. Your body helps you inspect your own learning clearly. This method can make answers more engaging for the listener because the structure is easy to follow. The listener sees and hears where the answer is going, while you feel less pressure to keep everything inside your head. Movement can also guide the emotional energy of a sentence. Under pressure, learners often speak with one flat tone because all their attention is being used to remember words. The sentence may express excitement, concern, disappointment, or confidence, but the body communicates only fear. This creates a conflict between language and delivery. You may say, I am excited about this opportunity, while your shoulders are closed and your voice is barely audible. The listener hears the words, but the body tells another story. Try again with a more open posture, enough breath, and a slight forward movement. I am genuinely excited about this opportunity because it will allow me to take on greater responsibility. The English has not become grammatically more advanced, but it sounds more believable because the body supports the meaning. Now consider disagreement. Some learners smile nervously and speak softly while expressing a serious concern. They say, I do not think this is a good idea, but their body appears to be asking permission. You do not need to become aggressive. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Make one calm, grounding gesture and say, I understand the goal, but I do not think the current plan solves the real problem. The body communicates steadiness rather than apology. This matters because your physical delivery affects how you experience your own English. When your body acts as though the sentence deserves space, your mind begins feeling safer inside the conversation. Movement also helps slow down speech without making it sound unnatural. Many learners rush because they want to escape attention before a mistake appears. The first words come out quickly, the breath becomes weak, and the ending collapses. Natural gestures can create small pauses that divide the sentence into meaningful parts. Take the sentence. I decided to change my routine because I was always tired in the evening and could no longer practice consistently. You can divide it physically and vocally. I decided to change my routine, followed by a small pause. Because I was always tired in the evening, followed by another natural pause, and I could no longer practice consistently. The movement helps each thought receive enough time. You are not speaking slowly because you do not know English. You are speaking with structure because the meaning deserves clarity. A pause feels less frightening when your body remains connected to the thought. If you freeze completely, the silence feels like failure. If your posture remains open and one hand lightly holds the idea, the pause feels like thinking. This is an important distinction. A frightened pause says, "I have lost everything." A controlled pause says, "I am choosing the next clear expression." The listener can often feel the difference, but more importantly, you can feel it. You can practice controlled pauses by speaking one sentence in 3 physical parts. Do not fill the spaces with actually, you know, or unnecessary apologies. Allow the body to hold the meaning while the mouth prepares the next section. For example, the biggest change in my English, pause, came when I stopped studying only with my eyes, pause, and began practicing with my voice and body. Repeat it until the pause feels intentional rather than dangerous. Then try. I still make mistakes, pause, but I no longer allow one mistake, pause, to destroy the rest of the conversation. The body remains present through the spaces. Another powerful practice is answering unexpected questions while standing rather than sitting. When you stand, it becomes easier to breathe fully, shift physical space, and let gestures appear naturally. Choose 10 questions you have not prepared and answer each one for 30 seconds. Questions could include: what is one decision that changed your life? What makes a person trustworthy? What problem do most English learners misunderstand? What would you improve about your daily routine? What is one belief you have changed? Before each answer, do not plan every word. Choose one physical center for the main idea, then begin. Allow movement to help organize the rest. For example, what makes someone trustworthy? Bring the main idea forward and say, "For me, trust begins with consistency." Then show the relationship between words and actions. A trustworthy person does not say one thing and repeatedly do another. Finally, land the conclusion with a steady gesture. People trust you when they know your behavior will remain honest even when the situation becomes difficult. The movements do not create the intelligence of the answer, but they help the intelligence travel through English. You should also practice physical recovery after making a mistake. When learners notice an error, their body often collapses. They look away, lower their voice, and stop moving. This physical reaction makes the mistake feel larger and tells the mind that something serious has happened. Instead, keep the posture stable and repair calmly. You might say, "I have visited him yesterday, let me correct that. I visited him yesterday, and we discussed the new project." Do not physically shrink during the correction. The mistake is one small part of the sentence, not a reason for the whole body to surrender. If a word disappears, maintain the connection to the listener and use a describing gesture. The experience was the best way to explain it is that I felt I had too many responsibilities and no clear place to begin. The sentence continues because the body did not declare an emergency. This kind of recovery must be practiced. Under pressure, the body usually repeats its oldest habit. If your oldest habit is freezing, looking down, and apologizing, that response will appear automatically. You need to build another physical response through repetition. Create deliberate mistakes during private practice. Say a sentence, stop calmly, use one steady gesture, correct it, and continue. Deliberately forget a word and describe it through movement. Ask yourself an unexpected question and allow a pause without closing your body. You are teaching your nervous system that speaking difficulty does not require retreat. You can also build a physical reset that becomes your personal signal before important conversations. It should be simple enough to use anywhere. Lower your shoulders, relax your jaw, take one steady breath. Feel both feet on the ground. Open one hand slightly, then remind yourself of the one message you want to deliver. This reset may take only 3 seconds, but it changes the starting condition of your body. You are not trying to eliminate every nervous feeling. You are giving the body a clear alternative to freezing. Use the reset before answering a phone call, entering a meeting, recording yourself, speaking to a stranger, or giving a presentation. Over time, the sequence itself can become connected to speaking readiness. The breath, posture, and hand movement tell your system it is time to communicate. You should not expect movement to remove every language problem. It will not replace vocabulary study, grammar practice, or listening experience. But it can help you access those abilities when pressure would normally hide them. The language you have learned needs a physical doorway. Movement can become that doorway. When the sentence feels trapped, give the idea direction. When several thoughts compete, give them different spaces. When the word disappears, show the meaning. When someone interrupts, return to the physical anchor. When the breath becomes weak, pause and rebuild it. When a mistake appears, keep the body stable and continue. This is how you transform movement from a classroom exercise into a real conversation tool. Do not wait until your next stressful speaking moment to try it for the first time. Practice pressure gradually. Begin alone, then speak while recording yourself. Next, speak while looking into a mirror or camera. Then practice with someone you trust. After that, use small movements during a real conversation. The goal is to make the body response familiar before the difficult situation arrives. You may feel slightly uncomfortable at first because you are no longer using the old hiding posture. Your hands may feel too visible. Your voice may sound stronger than usual. Your pauses may feel longer than they actually are. Stay with the new behavior. The discomfort is not proof that it is wrong. It is evidence that your body is learning another possibility. Each successful experience updates your physical memory. You were nervous, but you still answered. You forgot a word, but your hands helped you describe it. You were interrupted, but you returned to your second point. You made a mistake, but your posture remained steady. You felt pressure, but you completed the message. These experiences build dependable confidence because they are not based on the belief that nothing difficult will happen. They are based on proof that your body knows what to do when difficulty appears. That is much stronger than trying to feel fearless. Fearless speaking depends on perfect conditions. Physically prepared speaking can survive imperfect conditions. From today, notice the first sign of pressure inside your body. Do not wait until the sentence has completely disappeared. Respond early. If the shoulders rise, lower them. If the breath becomes short, rebuild it. If the hands freeze, allow one meaningful movement. If the thoughts become crowded, place the ideas in separate spaces. If your voice begins rushing, let the gesture slow the sentence. You are teaching English to remain available in the exact moments when it matters most. Your mind may contain the vocabulary, but the body controls whether that vocabulary feels reachable under pressure. When the body closes, English becomes distant. When the body remains open, active, and connected to meaning, the road back to the words becomes easier to find. Movement will not guarantee a perfect sentence. It will give you something more valuable, a way to continue when the sentence is not perfect. That is the skill real conversations demand. You do not need a body that never becomes nervous. You need a body that knows how to return. Return to breath, return to movement, return to the main meaning, then let the words follow. Chapter 5. Build speaking rhythm through repeated body patterns. English becomes easier when your body stops treating every sentence as a completely new task. If your mouth, breath, hands, and voice must solve everything from the beginning each time you speak, even simple answers can feel heavy. But when the body recognizes familiar speaking patterns, the sentence begins moving before every word has been consciously planned. This is how rhythm becomes important. Rhythm is not only about sounding natural, it helps your body know where a sentence begins, where the main idea receives stress, where a pause belongs, and where the thought should end. When your rhythm is weak, the words feel disconnected. When your rhythm becomes familiar, complete phrases begin leaving the mouth as one movement. Think about a sentence such as, "I want to improve my English because I need to speak more confidently at work." A learner may produce it word by word. I want to improve my English. Every word requires a new decision, so the sentence feels slow and uncertain. Now feel the sentence in larger movements. I want to improve my English because I need to speak more confidently at work. The first part carries the goal, the second carries the reason, the final part gives the real-life destination. When you connect each thought group to one natural movement and one breath pattern, the sentence becomes easier to produce as a whole. You might bring one hand closer to yourself during I want to improve my English, move it forward during the reason, and place the final idea firmly in front of you on at work. The body now remembers 3 complete sections instead of 11 separate words. This is the beginning of speaking rhythm. Fluent speakers often use repeated body patterns without noticing. Their hands move forward when giving a reason, separate when comparing 2 ideas, and settle when making a conclusion. Their voice follows these movements. The important word receives stress, the weaker words connect smoothly, and the sentence lands without being forced. You can build the same system through repetition. Choose one useful speaking pattern. I think ____ because ____. Say it with a simple physical path. Bring the opinion forward. I think daily speaking practice is important. Then move into the reason, because it teaches your mouth to respond faster. Repeat the structure with different meanings. I think listening is essential because it teaches you natural rhythm. I think mistakes are useful because they show you what needs more practice. I think short daily practice is effective because it is easier to maintain. The vocabulary changes, but the body pattern remains familiar. Your body begins recognizing opinion first, reason second, landing at the end. Now choose another pattern. I used to underscore, 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 but now I underscore, underscore, underscore. Place the old habit slightly behind or to one side. I used to translate every sentence, then move forward, but now I focus on the message. Repeat. I used to speak very softly, but now I allow my voice to be heard. I used to stop after mistakes, but now I recover and continue. I used to memorize isolated words, but now I connect them with movement. The body learns the movement of change from past to present. This is powerful because fluent speech is built from familiar meaning patterns. You do not need to invent a completely new structure every time. You need dependable paths that can carry different ideas. Another valuable pattern is, the problem is underscore, 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 so the solution is underscore, underscore, underscore. Place the problem in one physical space. The problem is that I study English silently. Then move toward the solution. So the solution is to practice speaking aloud every day. Repeat. The problem is that I forget words under pressure, so the solution is to connect them with gestures and real situations. The problem is that I rush my sentences, so the solution is to control my breathing and slow the first few words. The problem is that I lose long answers, so the solution is to divide them into clear sections. These patterns help you produce organized speech without memorizing long scripts. Your body begins understanding the logic before the complete wording appears. Rhythm also helps with pronunciation because English does not give equal force to every word. Important words carry the meaning, while smaller grammar words connect them. Consider, I need to speak more clearly. The important words are need, speak, and clearly. Allow a small gesture or beat on each one. Do not hit every word equally. Try. The main problem is fear. Stress main, problem, and fear. The second option gives us more control. Stress second, more, and control. When movement falls on the keywords, your voice begins finding a more natural rhythm. This also improves memory because the sentence develops a beat. You may forget the exact grammar, but remember the important meaning points. Suppose you are explaining, I started practicing with gestures because movement helped me remember words faster. The key beats may be started, gestures, movement, remember, faster. Your body can support these words while the smaller words connect them. This does not mean speaking like a robot. The beat should remain natural and connected to meaning. A useful exercise is to tap gently with one finger or move one hand on the stressed words while speaking. Begin slowly, then reduce the movement until it becomes subtle. Say, I want to speak English more naturally. I need more practice in real conversations. My body helps my mouth remember the words. The movement teaches the sentence where to carry energy. Breath must work with rhythm. Many learners use one breath for every few words because they are nervous, while others try to push an entire long sentence through one breath. Both habits damage flow. Instead, breathe according to meaning groups. Take, when I practice English with movement, I remember phrases more easily, and I speak with greater confidence. The sentence has 3 natural sections. When I practice English with movement, I remember phrases more easily, and I speak with greater confidence. Use one calm breath before beginning, allow a small pause between sections, and keep the body connected throughout. Do not wait until you are completely out of air before pausing. A controlled pause is part of rhythm. It gives the listener time to understand, and it gives your body time to prepare the next section. You can practice with a sentence such as, first I listen carefully, then I repeat the sentence with movement. Finally, I use it in my own situation. Each stage has a clear rhythm. Use one forward gesture for first, another for then, and a final grounding movement for finally. The body learns progression. Now apply this to a longer answer. First, I choose 5 useful words. Then, I create a natural gesture for each word. After that, I place the words inside complete sentences. Finally, I use those sentences while speaking about my real life. The sequence becomes easier to remember because the rhythm and movements create a physical order. This method can help learners who speak too quickly. Rushing often happens because you are trying to escape the sentence before a mistake appears. The body begins moving faster than the thought. The breath weakens, and the final meaning becomes unclear. Repeated body patterns can slow you down without making the speech unnatural. Use a small gesture to complete each thought group. Do not move into the next idea until the current gesture and meaning are finished. For example, I understand the question, complete the first movement, but I need a moment to organize my answer, complete the second. The main point is that regular practice matters more than occasional motivation. Land the final idea. The movements act like physical punctuation. They help your body feel where one section ends and the next begins. This is especially useful for learners who use too many fillers such as actually, you know, and like. Fillers often appear because the body has no clear rhythm during thinking. Instead of filling the space with sound, hold the meaning physically. Pause with an open posture. Keep one hand lightly connected to the main idea, then continue when the next section is ready. Try. I believe the method works. Pause, because it connects words with physical memory. The pause sounds controlled because the body remains present. Now try. The first reason is confidence, pause, and the second reason is faster word retrieval. The hand can hold the first and second points, so the silence does not feel empty. Rhythm also helps you remember longer phrases. Instead of learning, I would like to share my opinion about this decision. As 7 separate words, learn it as one complete speaking movement. Open one hand naturally and say the whole phrase several times. Then change only the ending. I would like to share my opinion about this plan. I would like to share my opinion about this problem. I would like to share my opinion about the new system. The opening becomes automatic, allowing your mind to focus on the real content. Build other useful phrase movements. The main reason is, let me give you an example. There are 2 important points. I understand your opinion, but I see it differently. The simplest way to explain it is, as a result, the situation became. Repeat each phrase with one consistent, meaningful gesture. Later, these phrases can release themselves during conversations because the body recognizes their rhythm. This reduces the delay before speaking. You do not begin from silence. You begin from a familiar physical pattern. You can also use body rhythm to strengthen storytelling. A story needs movement through time. The beginning establishes the situation. The middle introduces a change or problem. The ending gives the result or lesson. Practice. Last year, I applied for a new job. Use a small backward gesture for the past. During the interview, I became nervous and forgot several important words. Let the body show tension. Instead of stopping, I explained the ideas with simpler language. Move forward with recovery. That experience taught me that communication matters more than perfect vocabulary. Land the lesson firmly. The rhythm helps the story move naturally rather than becoming a list of disconnected events. Try another. I started learning English because I wanted better opportunities. At first, I focused only on grammar and vocabulary. Later, I realized that I needed to practice speaking with my whole body. Once I added movement, my words began feeling easier to remember. Each sentence has a different physical purpose. Reason, old method, realization, result. This makes the story more engaging because the body and voice carry development. Rhythm is also useful for emotional speaking. When you express something serious, do not rush through it with the same speed as an ordinary sentence. Take, I felt disappointed because I had trusted that person. Allow the voice to slow slightly. Bring the meaning closer to your chest. Give the final word enough space. Now say, I felt relieved when the problem was finally solved. Let the shoulders release naturally and allow the voice to carry relief. The physical rhythm should match the emotional meaning. This helps your English sound more human and makes the phrase easier to remember because emotion and movement strengthen the memory. You do not need to perform every feeling dramatically. Small physical honesty is enough. Another useful practice is echo repetition with movement. Listen to one short sentence spoken naturally. Do not repeat immediately. First notice, where does the speaker stress the meaning? Where does the voice rise or fall? Where is the pause? What natural movement might support the sentence? Then repeat the sentence while copying the rhythm and adding one simple gesture. For example, I didn't expect the meeting to end so early. The key beats are expect and early. Your hand may move slightly on those words. Repeat several times until the sentence feels like one complete action. Then change the content while keeping the rhythm. I didn't expect the lesson to be so difficult. I didn't expect the answer to come so quickly. Now the rhythm becomes reusable. This is much more powerful than copying sound without understanding structure. You are teaching your body a speaking pattern that can produce new sentences. You can create a daily rhythm routine that takes only 10 minutes. Begin with 2 minutes of breathing and posture. Relax the shoulders, loosen the jaw, and take several calm breaths while keeping the body open. Next, spend 3 minutes practicing 5 complete phrase movements, such as, the main reason is, on the other hand, and as a result. Then spend 3 minutes answering one question with clear thought groups and natural gestures. Finally, spend 2 minutes listening to your recording and noticing the rhythm rather than judging every grammar mistake. Ask, did I stress the important words? Did I rush the beginning? Did my breath support the ending? Did the movements help the sentence feel organized? Did I pause at natural meaning boundaries? These questions improve physical fluency. You can also use a metronome-like hand movement during private practice. Move the hand gently at a steady pace while saying a sentence. Do not force every word onto the beat. Use the movement to prevent rushing and keep the sentence flowing. For example, I practice English every day because repetition builds confidence. Let the hand move steadily across the sentence, then remove the deliberate beat and say it naturally. You may notice that the rhythm remains smoother. Clapping can also help with word stress. Say, I need to speak more clearly. Clap lightly on need and clearly. Body movement helps words become easier to remember. Clap on body, words, and remember. Use this only during learning. In real conversations, the physical beat becomes subtle. The purpose is to teach your body where English carries meaning. Another powerful exercise is rhythm substitution. Choose one sentence pattern. I want to underscore because underscore. Keep the rhythm and replace the content rapidly. I want to improve because I need more confidence. I want to practice because speaking still feels slow. I want to listen because I need better pronunciation. I want to continue because progress matters to me. The structure becomes physically familiar. Now choose. I used to underscore, but now I underscore. I used to translate, but now I think in meaning. I used to freeze, but now I pause and continue. I used to study silently, but now I speak aloud. I used to hide my hands, but now I let them support the sentence. The body learns the pattern of contrast and change. Do not focus on creating perfect examples. Focus on moving through the structure without losing rhythm. This practice develops speed in a healthy way. You are not forcing individual words to come faster. You are making complete thought pathways more automatic. There is an important difference between fast speaking and ready speaking. Fast speaking tries to reduce every pause. Ready speaking knows which physical and language pattern to use when the idea appears. A ready speaker may pause briefly, then deliver a clear sentence smoothly. That is more useful than rushing through uncertain language. Your goal is not to speak at maximum speed. Your goal is to make the body familiar with the route from meaning to sentence. When the route becomes familiar, speed improves naturally. Rhythm can also prevent sentences from fading at the end. Many learners begin with strong energy but lose breath and confidence during the final words. Their voice becomes quiet, and the ending sounds uncertain. Practice landing the final idea with both breath and movement. Say, the most important thing is consistent practice. Keep enough air for consistent practice. Use one grounding gesture on the final phrase. Say, movement helps because it turns English into physical memory. Let physical memory land clearly. Say, my goal is not perfect English. My goal is natural communication. Allow the second sentence to finish with control. Do not rush into the next thought immediately. Pause and let the sentence stand. This creates confidence in both the listener and the speaker. Your body begins learning that a sentence is not complete until the final meaning has arrived. You can use a mirror to study this. Watch whether your body collapses near the end of the sentence. Do your hands disappear? Does your head lower? Does the voice lose strength? Practice maintaining a calm, open posture through the final word. The goal is not to look powerful. The goal is to remain physically connected until the thought is finished. Over time, repeated body patterns begin doing more work automatically. You hear a comparison question, and your hands naturally create two sides. You begin explaining a process, and your body moves through first, next, and finally. You express a reason, and your voice naturally shifts toward because. You reach a conclusion, and the sentence settles firmly. These patterns reduce mental overload because your mind no longer has to create the complete speaking structure from nothing. The structure already exists inside the body. You only need to place the new meaning inside it. This is how physical memory becomes practical fluency. From today, do not repeat English only to remember the words. Repeat it until your body recognizes the rhythm. Give the opinion one movement. Give the reason another. Give the contrast its own space. Give the conclusion a strong landing. Practice complete phrases until they feel like actions rather than sentences you must rebuild every time. Your mouth will become faster when it no longer has to search for the road. Your breath will become steadier when it knows where the sentence is going. Your voice will sound more natural when movement, stress, and meaning begin working together. And once the rhythm becomes familiar, English will stop feeling like a collection of words you are trying to remember. It will begin feeling like a physical pattern your entire body already knows how to perform. Chapter 6. Make English automatic through real-life body practice. The English body movement method becomes truly powerful when it leaves the practice room and enters your real life. It is useful to connect words with gestures, practice sentence rhythm, and organize ideas through physical movement. But the final goal is not to become excellent at exercises. The final goal is to make English available when you are answering a real question, explaining an unexpected problem, telling a personal story, speaking during a meeting, or trying to continue when nervousness appears. Many learners practice English in conditions that are completely different from the conditions in which they need to use it. They sit alone, read a prepared sentence, repeat it several times, and feel successful because the words sound clear. Later, someone asks them a similar question without warning, and the sentence disappears. They become frustrated because they believe the practice failed, but the practice may simply have been too controlled. Reading a prepared sentence and producing a thought during a real conversation are different physical experiences. While reading, the words are already visible, the order has already been chosen, and the ending is waiting on the page. During conversation, your body must create the sentence while also managing breath, attention, vocabulary, timing, emotion, and the listener's reaction. That is why movement practice must gradually become connected to real situations rather than remaining attached only to written examples. Imagine that you practice the phrase, "The main reason is," while opening one hand and placing the central point in front of you. Repeating the phrase is useful, but the pattern becomes dependable only when you use it to answer many different questions. Someone asks why you changed your routine. You say, "The main reason is that I had no energy left in the evening." Someone asks why you disagree with a decision. You say, "The main reason is that the plan creates more work without solving the original problem." Someone asks why English matters to you. You say, "The main reason is that I want to communicate independently and express my real personality." The movement remains familiar while the meaning changes. This is how the body learns a flexible speaking pattern instead of one memorized line. Automatic English does not mean repeating the same sentence without thinking. It means having enough familiar physical and language pathways that your body can carry new meaning without needing to rebuild the complete speaking system every time. Think about how naturally you use movement in daily life. You do not need to plan how your hand will reach for a cup, how your feet will turn when you change direction, or how your face will react when you hear surprising news. These movements have become dependable because you have used them in many different situations. Your English patterns need the same variety. If you practice, on the other hand, only inside one sentence, the phrase may remain connected to that sentence. If you use it while discussing work, travel, technology, education, relationships, and daily habits, your body begins recognizing the deeper function of contrast. You might say, "Working from home saves time." On the other hand, office work can make teamwork easier. Living in a large city creates more opportunities. On the other hand, it can also bring greater stress. Studying grammar gives you useful knowledge. On the other hand, knowledge alone does not guarantee confident speaking. Each time, place the first idea on one side and the contrasting idea on the other. The body learns what the phrase does rather than memorizing only what follows it. This difference is essential. A memorized sentence belongs to one situation. A physical speaking pattern can serve hundreds of situations. Your goal is to build patterns that remain available even when the topic changes. One of the best ways to do this is through situation transformation. Choose one speaking pattern and move it through several parts of your life. Take, "I used to underscore, but now I underscore. Use it for English learning. "I used to study silently, but now I practice speaking aloud." Use it for work. "I used to begin the day without a plan, but now I choose my most important task first." Use it for confidence. "I used to avoid difficult conversations, but now I try to express one clear thought." Use it for health. "I used to sleep very late, but now I protect my evening routine." Use it for personal growth. "I used to believe that confidence came before action, but now I understand that action creates confidence." The movement from past to present remains the same, but the content becomes personal and flexible. Your body begins recognizing the structure as a natural way to express change. Now use. The problem is underscore underscore underscore, so I need to underscore underscore underscore. The problem is that I lose focus easily, so I need to remove distractions before studying. The problem is that my answers are too short, so I need to add one reason and one example. The problem is that I rush under pressure, so I need to control the first few words of my response. The problem is that I recognize vocabulary, but do not use it, so I need to place new words inside real speaking situations. The body learns movement from problem toward solution. This physical logic becomes available during conversations because you have practiced it with many meanings. Another powerful method is environmental speaking. Instead of practicing English only while looking at a page, use the world around you as the source of language. Walk through your room and describe actions as they happen. I am opening the window because the room feels warm. I am moving this chair closer to the desk. I am putting the book on the shelf. I am turning off the light. Allow the body to perform the action while the mouth names it. The language becomes connected to reality. Later, describe the same actions in the past. I opened the window because the room felt warm. I moved the chair closer to the desk. Then describe the future. I will put the book back after I finish reading. You are connecting physical experience with tense, vocabulary, and sentence structure. This is more powerful than memorizing unrelated examples because your body already understands the action. You can also explain your decisions while performing ordinary tasks. I am choosing this shirt because the weather is warm. I am preparing the food now so I do not become too busy later. I am writing this task down because I do not want to forget it. I am leaving early because traffic usually becomes heavier after 5. These sentences connect action, reason, and movement. You are teaching your body to produce English while living rather than only while studying. Many learners separate English from daily life. They study for 1 hour and then return to their first language for everything else. The English remains connected to the lesson instead of becoming connected to real actions, emotions, decisions, and environments. The body movement method begins closing that gap. When you stand up, you can think, I am standing up. When you change direction, I am turning around. When you move something, I am moving it to the other side. When you compare two objects, use both hands and say, this one is lighter, but the other one is stronger. When you search for something, say, I cannot find the key, although I remember placing it on the table. These small moments create physical English throughout the day. The sentences may seem simple, but simple language repeated inside real life becomes extremely dependable. It teaches your speaking system that English is not a special performance reserved for practice. It is another way of describing what your body is already doing. You should also connect movement with real emotion. A word becomes much more available when it is attached to an honest experience. Suppose you are learning relieved. Do not only repeat, I felt relieved. Think about a real moment when pressure ended. Perhaps you received important news, completed a difficult task, or discovered that a problem was smaller than you feared. Let your shoulders release and say, I felt relieved when I learned that the result was better than I expected. The movement and memory support the word. For frustrated, remember a real situation where repeated effort produced no progress. Let your hands show blocked movement and say, I felt frustrated because I kept trying to solve the problem, but nothing changed. For proud, connect the word to something you completed through effort. I felt proud when I finished the presentation even though I was nervous. For disappointed, I felt disappointed because I had trusted that the promise would be kept. The stronger the personal connection, the less the word feels like information from a textbook. This is why your real experiences should become part of your English practice. Your life already contains thousands of meaningful situations, a difficult conversation, a decision you regret, a goal you are pursuing, a problem you solved, a person who influenced you, a moment when you felt afraid but continued. These experiences have emotional and physical memory. When you connect English to them, the language receives stronger support. Choose one memory each day and tell it through movement. Do not write the entire story first. Identify 4 physical stages: the situation, the problem, the action, the lesson. Suppose the memory is about missing an opportunity because you were afraid to speak. You might begin with a backward gesture. Last year, I attended a meeting where people were discussing a new project. Then place the problem in front of you. I had an idea, but I was afraid that my English would sound weak. Show the missed action. I remained silent, and someone else later shared a similar idea. finally, land the lesson. That experience taught me that silence may protect me from embarrassment, but it can also hide my value. The body helps you carry the emotional journey. You may not reproduce the exact same words each time, but the meaning remains organized through physical stages. This is better than memorizing one perfect script because real conversation requires flexible reconstruction. The listener may ask, "Why did you remain silent?" Now you can focus on that part. What did you learn? You can move directly toward the lesson. How did the experience change you? You can connect the past event with present behavior. Your body remembers the map, so you can enter the story from different places. Another essential practice is spontaneous speaking with movement. Choose an object, image, question, or situation and begin speaking after only a few seconds of preparation. Do not plan a complete answer. Choose a simple physical structure. For example, main idea, reason, example, conclusion. Suppose the question is social media useful? Place the main idea in front of you. Social media can be useful when people use it with a clear purpose. Move forward into the reason. It gives people access to information, education, and communication. Present an example. For example, learners can connect with teachers and resources from around the world. Then use contrast and conclusion. However, it becomes harmful when it controls attention instead of serving a real goal. The answer grows through a familiar body pattern. You are not memorizing content. You are using movement to manage thought. Try another unexpected question. What makes someone a good leader? Main idea. A good leader makes people feel responsible rather than powerless. Reason. They explain expectations clearly and listen before making important decisions. Example. When a team member faces a problem, a good leader helps them understand how to solve it instead of simply blaming them. Conclusion. Leadership becomes stronger when authority creates growth rather than fear. The answer may not be perfect, but it is organized, thoughtful, and complete. The goal of spontaneous practice is not speed, it is recovery and direction. You are learning to enter an answer without knowing every word. Trust a familiar physical path and build meaning while speaking. At first, use simple questions. Later, choose more complex ones. What does confidence mean to you? Why do people lose motivation? What is one mistake society makes about success? What should learners do when they understand English but cannot speak? What experience changed the way you see failure? Give yourself 5 seconds to choose the main direction, then speak for 1 minute. Allow your hands to organize reasons, contrast, sequence, and conclusion. Do not stop because one word disappears. Use movement to describe the meaning. Suppose you want to say consistent, but the word does not appear. Use repeated forward movements and say, "A person must continue doing the action regularly, even when motivation becomes weak. The meaning survives." Suppose you forget independent. Bring responsibility toward yourself and say, "I want to become able to manage these situations without always needing another person's help." The movement supports the explanation. Spontaneous practice becomes valuable because it teaches your body that a missing word does not mean the speaking action must stop. You can move around the gap. That experience builds practical confidence. Another method is body-supported shadowing. Traditional shadowing means listening to a speaker and repeating closely. In this method, you also observe the speaker's physical delivery. Choose a short, natural clip, preferably 1 or 2 sentences. Listen first without repeating. Notice where the speaker stresses important words. Notice how the face changes. Notice where the speaker pauses. Notice whether the hands open, separate, move forward, or settle. Then repeat the sentence while copying the meaning, rhythm, and general movement. Do not copy the person like an actor trying to imitate every tiny gesture. Focus on the physical logic. If the speaker contrasts 2 ideas, show contrast. If the speaker reaches a conclusion, let the movement settle. If the sentence carries excitement, allow the voice and expression to respond. For example, "I thought the project would be simple, but it became much more complicated than we expected." The first part may feel lighter. The body shifts at but. The final idea carries greater weight. Repeat it until the movement and language feel connected. Then create your own sentences with the same physical rhythm. "I thought the conversation would be difficult, but it became easier once I stopped trying to be perfect." "I expected the lesson to take an hour, but I completed it much faster than planned." "I believed confidence would come first, but I discovered that confidence grows after action." You are borrowing the physical pattern, not only the words. This helps natural English enter the body. You should also practice body-supported listening. Listening is not completely passive. Your body can respond to the structure of what you hear. When a speaker says, "There are 3 reasons," show 3 fingers quietly. When they contrast 2 ideas, imagine or lightly create 2 spaces. When they describe progress, move mentally or physically forward. When they explain increase or decrease, feel the direction. This keeps your body connected to meaning and may improve comprehension because you are following the logic physically. Suppose you hear, "At first the company grew quickly, but later the demand began to fall." Your body can feel upward growth, a shift at but, and downward movement in demand. The sentence becomes a physical event rather than only a sound sequence. Later, when you need similar language, the pattern may feel easier to produce. Another important step is to practice in several body positions and environments. If you always practice while sitting in the same chair, your English may become connected to that safe condition. Real conversations happen while standing, walking, driving, working, meeting strangers, or speaking through a phone. Practice while sitting, then stand, then walk slowly, then speak while looking into a camera, then practice while holding an object. Then answer a question after moving from one room to another. These changes teach the speaking pattern to remain available across different physical conditions. You may notice that your English changes with posture. Sitting may help you think carefully. Standing may improve breath and confidence. Walking may help ideas flow. Speaking into a camera may create observation pressure. Each environment teaches you something. Do not judge the differences. Use them to make the skill more flexible. If you become nervous on camera, practice 1-minute answers while keeping the shoulders relaxed and gestures natural. If phone calls make you freeze, stand while speaking and allow one hand to move even though the listener cannot see it. The gesture is not only for them, it is helping your own body organize the sentence. If meetings make your voice weak, practice expressing opinions while seated at a table. Place one idea on the table physically, use a steady breath, and land the final point without fading. The practice should resemble the situation where you need the skill. Real-life movement also includes interaction. Speaking alone cannot fully prepare you for another person's unpredictability. The listener may interrupt, they may ask a follow-up question, they may misunderstand, they may disagree, they may change the subject. Your body must learn to remain active when the conversation stops following your plan. Practice with a trusted person and give them permission to interrupt naturally or ask unexpected questions. Begin explaining a topic. When they interrupt, keep one physical anchor for your unfinished point. Answer their question, then return. As I was saying, the second reason is, or, returning to the main point, or, the part one had not finished was, use the body to return to the previous physical location. This trains conversational recovery. Suppose you are comparing 2 methods and the listener asks about the first one. Answer briefly, then physically return to the second side. That is true about the first method. However, the second method gives us more flexibility in the long term. Your body helps you remember where the larger explanation was going. Practice follow-up questions too. Someone asks, "Why are you learning English?" You answer, "I want greater independence in work and daily communication." They ask, "What do you mean by independence?" Bring the idea closer to yourself and explain. "I mean being able to send important messages, understand information, and express decisions without always depending on another person." They ask, "Which situation is hardest for you now?" Place the challenge in front of you. Unexpected conversations are the hardest because I do not have time to prepare my words. Your English becomes more flexible because the body is following meaning rather than one memorized answer. You should also practice disagreement because this is one of the situations where the body often becomes tense. Many learners either remain silent or speak too apologetically. Choose one statement you disagree with and practice a balanced physical response. First, acknowledge the other side. "I understand why some people believe grammar should come first." Use an open gesture, then create a clear contrast. "But I do not think grammar knowledge alone produces confident speaking." Shift to the other side. Give your reason. Learners also need repeated experience using language under real conditions. Move forward. Land the point. Grammar should support communication, not replace it. Remain physically steady through the ending. This is calm disagreement. The body is neither collapsing nor attacking. It is organizing 2 positions and delivering one clear conclusion. Practice. "I understand the benefit of this plan, but I am concerned about the pressure it will create. I agree with the goal, although I would prefer a different method. I see the situation differently because my experience produced another result." These patterns become easier when the body knows how to hold respect and disagreement at the same time. Another skill is practicing physical listening while someone else speaks. Many learners plan their next sentence so intensely that they stop listening. Then their answer feels disconnected and pressure increases. Keep the body open toward the speaker. Allow small natural responses, such as nodding when you understand. When the speaker presents 2 points, notice them physically. When they finish, take one breath before answering. Begin by connecting to their meaning. So your main concern is the cost, not the time required. Is that correct? This sentence shows that you listened. Then add your response. I understand that concern, but I think the delay may create a greater cost later. The body moves from their idea toward yours. Communication becomes less like performing a prepared answer and more like participating in a shared movement of meaning. The body movement method should not make you self-conscious about every physical action. That would create another form of overthinking. During early practice, you may intentionally choose gestures. During real conversation, your goal is to focus on meaning and allow the trained patterns to appear naturally. Do not ask yourself every second, which gesture should I use now? Instead, ask, what relationship exists between these ideas? Is it contrast, sequence, cause and result, past and future, problem and solution, personal feeling? Your body can respond to that relationship. The more deeply you understand the meaning, the more natural the movement becomes. A random gesture may feel forced because it is not connected to the thought. A meaningful gesture feels useful because it represents what the sentence is doing. You should also learn when not to move. Physical fluency includes stillness. An important conclusion may become stronger when the movement settles and the voice carries the final meaning clearly. Suppose you say, the real problem is not that learners know too little English, it is that they cannot access what they know under pressure. You may use a gesture during the contrast, then allow the body to become still on the final words. The stillness gives the conclusion weight. Or, I do not need to speak perfectly, I need to remain present long enough for my meaning to arrive. Allow the final sentence to land without extra movement. Good body language is not constant activity. It is meaningful activity combined with controlled stillness. Just as speech needs pauses, movement needs moments of rest. Your daily practice should gradually combine everything you have learned. Begin with a physical reset. Relax the shoulders, release the jaw, take one calm breath, choose 5 words and reconnect them with movement. Practice 2 complete phrase patterns. Answer 1 unexpected question for 1 minute. Tell 1 short personal story. Finish with 1 real-life conversation or voice message. This complete routine can take 15 to 20 minutes. The quality of the practice matters more than the length. You are not trying to exhaust yourself. You are trying to give your body repeated successful experiences of carrying English meaning. At the end, review the physical performance fairly. Did movement help you retrieve a word? Did your breath support the complete sentence? Did you physically organize contrast or sequence? Did you remain steady after a mistake? Did the gestures feel meaningful or forced? Did your voice and body express the same emotion? Choose one thing to improve tomorrow. Do not attempt to repair everything at once. Perhaps tomorrow you will focus on keeping enough breath for sentence endings. The next day, on using physical space for comparisons. Then, on remaining open during pauses. Then, on expressing one emotion naturally. Small physical improvements combine into dependable speaking behavior. There may be days when the method feels powerful and other days when your English still feels slow. Do not conclude that the system has failed. Automatic speaking develops unevenly. A phrase may become natural before another one. Gestures may help during storytelling but feel less useful in professional explanations. Your body may remain relaxed with friends and still freeze with authority figures. These differences show where more varied practice is needed. Take the skill into the difficult environment gradually. Do not force yourself into the hardest situation immediately, but do not remain permanently inside comfort. First, record yourself. Then speak to one trusted person. Then join a short conversation. Then ask one question in a group. Then explain one idea during a meeting. Then handle one unexpected follow-up. Each stage expands the range in which your body can keep English available. Confidence grows when the body receives evidence across different situations. I can speak while standing. I can continue after interruption. I can explain a missing word. I can disagree calmly. I can tell a story without memorizing it. I can use movement even when nervous. I can answer a question I did not prepare. These are not motivational claims. They are physical memories created through action. The body believes repeated experience more deeply than repeated encouragement. You can tell yourself, I am confident, 100 times, but one successful recovery after a difficult question may teach you more. That experience says, I felt pressure, but I knew how to return. This is dependable confidence. It does not require every conversation to be easy. It depends on your ability to use movement, breath, rhythm, and physical organization when difficulty appears. Your final goal is not to look like someone using a method. The goal is for the method to disappear inside natural communication. At first, you consciously move upward for increase. Later, the word and movement appear together. Eventually, the word may appear without visible gesture because the physical memory is already established. At first, you deliberately place two options on different sides. Later, your hands organize comparisons naturally. Eventually, even a small internal sense of space may be enough to hold the ideas. At first, you practice breathing before each answer. Later, the body automatically prepares enough air. At first, you focus on landing the final phrase. Later, your voice naturally carries the sentence to completion. The visible practice becomes invisible ability. That is how training should work. You use conscious movement to build unconscious support. You repeat the pattern until your body no longer waits for instructions. You practice English as action until English becomes an action your body recognizes. From today, do not keep this method inside one exercise. Use it when you describe what you are doing. Use it when you explain a choice. Use it when you tell a story. Use it when you disagree. Use it when you forget a word. Use it when you speak on the phone. Use it when you record yourself. Use it when someone asks a question you did not expect. Allow every real situation to become physical English practice. The world around you is full of movement, direction, contrast, emotion, sequence, and purpose. These are the same foundations your sentences need. When your body performs an action, name it. When your emotions change, express them. When two options appear, separate them physically. When a problem needs a solution, move from one toward the other. When a story develops, give each stage a place. When a conclusion matters, let the body become steady and allow the words to land. The more real the practice becomes, the less English will feel like information you are trying to remember. It will begin attaching itself to your habits, environments, reactions, and experiences. You will no longer need to search through a silent mental dictionary for every word. Your body will provide clues. Your movement will organize the thought. Your breath will carry the sentence. Your rhythm will connect the phrases. Your physical memory will help the meaning remain available. This is how English begins becoming dependable. Not because you forced the brain to memorize everything, but because you gave the language somewhere larger to live. You gave it your voice. You gave it your breath. You gave it your movement. You gave it real moments from your life. And when English becomes connected to real life strongly enough, you stop feeling that you are activating a foreign skill every time you speak. You simply begin communicating through a pattern your body has learned to trust. Chapter 7. Turn English into a speaking instinct your whole body remembers. There comes a point in every learner's journey when collecting more English is no longer the main problem. You already know many words, you understand common grammar, you recognize useful expressions when you hear them. You may follow videos, read articles, and understand conversations much better than before. Yet speaking still feels like a task you must consciously control from the first word to the last. You know English, but you do not always feel that English belongs to you. The final purpose of the English body movement method is to change that relationship. English must stop feeling like information you visit during study and begin feeling like a physical ability that travels with you. Your breath, mouth, voice, hands, posture, facial expression, rhythm, and attention must begin supporting the language so naturally that speaking no longer feels like forcing knowledge through a narrow opening. This transformation does not happen because you memorize one perfect gesture for every word. It happens when repeated movement connects English to meaning so deeply that the body begins recognizing what kind of speaking action is required before every word has been consciously selected. You hear a question asking for two reasons, and your body prepares two clear points. You begin describing a change, and your movement naturally creates a path from past to present. You compare two options, and your hands give each option its own space. You explain a problem, and your body helps you move toward a solution. You tell a story, and your posture, expression, and rhythm carry the listener through the beginning, difficulty, turning point, and lesson. You forget a word, but instead of freezing, your hands begin showing the meaning while your mouth finds another way to express it. This is the moment when movement stops being an exercise and becomes speaking instinct. A speaking instinct does not mean you produce perfect English without effort. It means your body has learned how to remain active when the language becomes uncertain. It knows how to support the thought, protect the rhythm, recover after a mistake, and guide the message toward completion. That is a much stronger goal than perfection. Perfection depends on every word arriving correctly. Instinct allows communication to continue even when one word does not. Many learners wait for speaking to become automatic through knowledge alone. They believe that after enough vocabulary, enough listening, or enough grammar practice, the mouth will suddenly begin producing natural English. Knowledge certainly helps, but information does not become automatic merely because it has been understood many times. Automatic ability grows through complete action. A football player may understand exactly how to kick a ball, but the body still needs repeated physical experience. A musician may know which notes belong in a song, but the fingers must learn the movement. A driver may understand every rule of the road, but real control develops only when vision, hands, feet, timing, judgment, and physical response begin working together. Speaking English is also coordinated action. The mind creates meaning, but the body must deliver it. The lungs must provide controlled air. The voice must carry stress, emotion, and intention. The tongue and lips must shape unfamiliar sound patterns. The face must support the emotional meaning. The body must remain stable enough for communication to continue under observation. The hands may help organize complex ideas. The nervous system must learn that speaking imperfectly is not an emergency. All of this develops through experience, not information alone. The question is no longer, how much English do I know? The more useful question is, how much English can my body produce while I am thinking, feeling, listening, and responding in real time? That is the ability you are now building. At first, you may have used visible movements to remember simple words. You moved upward for increase, downward for decrease, brought your hands together for connect, and moved them apart for separate. These movements gave vocabulary a physical shape. Then you used movement to organize sentences. You placed an opinion in front of you, moved forward into the reason, and grounded the conclusion. You used different sides for contrast and a series of small movements for sequence. Later, you practiced these patterns under pressure. You learned to release your shoulders, rebuild your breath, recover missing words, and remain physically connected to the message after interruptions or mistakes. Now the final stage is integration. Integration means that you no longer experience vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, movement, breathing, and confidence as separate subjects. They begin functioning as one speaking system. Suppose someone asks you, "What has been the greatest challenge in your English journey?" Before, you might begin searching for impressive vocabulary. You might silently build the grammar, reject several openings, become aware of the listener, and feel your body tighten before producing anything. With an integrated speaking system, you begin from meaning. Your body settles. You bring the idea closer to yourself and say, "The greatest challenge has been trusting my English during real conversations." The personal center is clear. Your hand moves slightly outward as you explain. "I often knew what I wanted to say, but the moment someone began listening, I started controlling every word." The problem becomes visible. Then your movement changes direction. "I began improving when I practiced complete answers with my voice, breathing, and natural gestures instead of studying only in silence." The turning point arrives. Finally, you allow the body to settle and say, "I learned that fluency is not only stored in the mind. It must become a pattern the whole body can perform." The answer lands. You did not need to memorize the exact response. Your body understood the journey: personal challenge, cause, change, and lesson. That physical structure allowed your English to develop around the meaning. This is the kind of automatic speaking you want. Not memorized language that collapses when the question changes, but adaptable physical patterns that can carry new thoughts. To make this ability dependable, you must stop practicing only when you feel motivated. Physical memory grows through repeated contact, and repetition becomes powerful when it is regular enough for the body to expect it. Imagine practicing movement-based English once for an hour and then ignoring it for 10 days. The session may feel exciting, but the body does not receive enough consistent evidence to create a stable habit. Now imagine practicing for 15 focused minutes every day. You reconnect 5 words with movement, repeat 2 useful sentence patterns, answer 1 unexpected question, and tell 1 short story. The amount seems small, but the body receives a daily message. This language is something we perform. After several weeks, the movements become familiar. The voice begins finding rhythm faster. The body relaxes sooner. Useful phrases appear with less preparation. Missing words stop feeling dangerous because physical description becomes natural. Consistency allows speaking to move from effort toward instinct. The practice should be simple enough to repeat and varied enough to create flexibility. Begin each session by waking up the speaking body. Stand or sit in an open position. Release your shoulders and jaw. Take one calm breath, not as a dramatic relaxation ritual, but as a signal that the body is preparing to communicate. Then say 5 movement words that are useful in your real life. Perhaps your words are increase, reduce, support, avoid, and improve. Do not repeat them mechanically. Place each one inside a meaningful sentence. We need to increase the amount of speaking practice. Move upward. I am trying to reduce unnecessary hesitation. Bring the movement inward. My family supported me when I started this journey. Use one hand beneath the other. I used to avoid conversations with fluent speakers. Move away. My confidence is improving because I speak more regularly. Move gradually forward or upward. Next, choose one sentence pattern and move it through several topics. Perhaps, I used to underscore, but now I underscore. Use it for English. I used to memorize individual words, but now I practice complete phrases with movement. Use it for confidence. I used to apologize after every mistake, but now I correct what matters and continue. Use it for work. I used to begin every task immediately, but now I decide which one deserves attention first. Use it for daily life. I used to keep every problem inside my mind, but now I write things down and handle them one at a time. The body learns the pattern of transformation while the mind practices flexible meaning. Then answer one question you did not prepare. Do not search for the perfect sentence. Choose a physical path. If the question is, why do people lose motivation? You might choose cause, example, and lesson. You say, people often lose motivation because they expect visible progress too quickly. Move forward into the cause. For example, an English learner may practice for 1 week and become disappointed because speaking still feels difficult. Present the example. The deeper lesson is that motivation becomes unreliable when it depends on immediate results. Ground the conclusion. You have produced a thoughtful response through one familiar pattern. Finally, tell one personal story. It does not need to be dramatic. The purpose is to connect language with real memory, emotion, and sequence. You might describe a difficult phone call, a decision you made, a moment when you forgot English, or a small success that gave you confidence. Organize it physically. Situation, problem, response, result, lesson. For example, a few months ago, I received a phone call in English that I had not expected. Place it in the past. At first, I became nervous because I could not see the other person's face and had no time to prepare. Show the difficulty. Instead of ending the call, I stood up, slowed my breathing, and used small hand movements while explaining my answer. Move into the response. The conversation was not perfect, but I communicated what I needed. Land the result. That experience taught me that my hands can support my English even when the listener cannot see them. Complete the lesson. This practice connects movement with real-life communication rather than artificial language examples. The strongest physical memory grows when the language matters personally. If you repeat, "The cat is under the table," 100 times but never need that sentence, your body may learn the sound without developing useful speaking ability. If you practice explaining why you changed your job, what you believe about confidence, how a difficult experience affected you, or what you need during an important conversation, the language becomes connected to identity and purpose. That connection increases attention. Attention strengthens memory. Meaningful repetition becomes easier to recall because it is tied to real emotional and physical experience. This is why you should build your English around the life you actually live. If you work in business, practice comparing options, explaining delays, offering solutions, describing results, and disagreeing calmly. If you need English for travel, practice asking for information, describing a problem, clarifying instructions, explaining what you need, and responding when plans change. If your goal is social confidence, practice telling short stories, reacting naturally, asking follow-up questions, expressing feelings, and sharing personal opinions. If you are preparing for interviews, practice giving examples of challenges, achievements, decisions, teamwork, mistakes, and lessons. The body movement method should not remain general. It must enter the situations where your English usually becomes weak. Imagine preparing for a job interview using only written answers. You may memorize a perfect response to "tell me about yourself," but if the interviewer changes one word or asks an unexpected follow-up, the memorized answer may collapse. A stronger approach is to practice the physical map of the answer. Present identity. Move toward experience. Show the skill you developed. Connect it to the opportunity. You might say, "I have worked in digital content for several years." Establish your professional identity. My main experience involves organizing ideas and turning them into messages that audiences can understand easily. Move toward your core ability. Over time, I have developed stronger planning, research, and communication skills. Show growth. I am interested in this role because it would allow me to use those skills while taking on greater responsibility. Connect the past to the future. Now, if the wording changes, the physical logic remains. You can rebuild the answer without depending on one script. The interviewer may ask, "What kind of content have you created?" Your body can move toward examples. What is your greatest strength? You can move directly to skill and evidence. Why do you want this role? You can connect experience with future opportunity. This is flexible speaking. Your body is not storing one answer. It is storing relationships between meanings. You can use the same method for presentations. Do not memorize every line of a presentation without understanding its physical structure. Divide the message into visible movements: opening problem, main cause, evidence, possible solution, expected result, final conclusion. Place each section in a physical location or connect it to one consistent movement. When a word disappears, the structure remains. You know what meaning belongs next. Suppose you are presenting a new plan. You begin, "The current system creates 3 major problems." Show 3 fingers. The first is unnecessary delay. Give the first problem a location. The second is unclear responsibility. Give it another location. The third is repeated work. Complete the list. Then move forward. Our proposed system solves these problems by giving each task one owner and one deadline. The solution becomes physically distinct from the problem. Finally, ground the result. This should reduce confusion, improve accountability, and help the team complete work faster. The body helps both you and the audience follow the argument. This does not mean every professional speaker must use large gestures. The movements can remain controlled and appropriate. Their primary purpose is to support the internal organization of meaning. One of the clearest signs that body memory is developing is that your words begin arriving while you are moving. You may start walking and suddenly remember the sentence you could not produce while sitting. You may use a comparison gesture and find the second idea more quickly. You may move your hand upward and retrieve increase, growth, improvement, or progress. This happens because meaning is connected through networks. A word is easier to retrieve when it is connected not only to spelling or translation, but also to direction, experience, sound, rhythm, emotion, and action. The stronger the network, the more routes your mind can use. Suppose the word responsibility disappears during a conversation. If you learned it only as a translation, the search may stop when that label cannot be reached. But if responsibility is connected to a hand near your chest, the idea of ownership, completing tasks, accepting consequences, and supporting other people, several routes remain. You can say, "I mean being the person who must make sure the work is completed." The exact word may return later, but communication has already succeeded. Physical memory creates this flexibility. It also protects you from overdependence on translation. When a word is connected to movement and direct meaning, you do not always need to travel through your first language first. You feel upward movement and understand increase. You feel 2 sides and understand contrast. You bring something close and understand personal. You move forward and understand progress or future. The relationship between idea and English becomes more direct. This directness is one of the foundations of fluent speaking. You do not need to completely remove your first language from the mind. Translation can be useful during learning. The goal is to create enough direct English connections that translation is no longer required for every sentence. Body movement helps create those connections because meaning becomes visible and physical before a verbal translation is needed. Consider teaching yourself the phrase, "I am moving in the right direction." You can understand it intellectually, but if you take a small step forward while saying it and connect the phrase to real progress, the meaning becomes more immediate. Now use it in several contexts. My pronunciation is not perfect, but I am moving in the right direction. This plan still needs improvement, but the team is moving in the right direction. I have not reached my goal yet, but my daily habits are moving me in the right direction. The forward physical pattern becomes connected to progress across different situations. Later, the phrase may appear naturally when you need it. Another sign of developing instinct is that your recovery becomes faster. Before, one mistake may have stopped the complete answer. You noticed the grammar problem, lowered your head, apologized, and restarted from the first word. Now the body remains connected. You say, "I have went there twice, let me correct that. I have been there twice, and both visits were useful." The correction happens locally. The sentence continues, or, "The experience was I cannot remember the exact word, but it made me feel that my effort had finally been recognized." The missing adjective does not become a crisis, or, "There were 3 reasons. The first was cost, the second was time, and the third, the final reason was the lack of support." Your fingers hold the structure while the vocabulary catches up. These are signs of fluency under real conditions. You are not avoiding difficulty, you are moving through it. Many learners only measure fluency by speed. They ask whether they can speak without pauses, produce long answers, or sound like native speakers. Those measures can be useful, but they do not reveal the complete ability. A dependable speaker may pause but remain connected to meaning. They may forget a word but explain it. They may make a mistake but recover. They may become nervous but protect their breathing and posture. They may be interrupted but return to the unfinished point. This is physical speaking control. It allows your English to function in the imperfect conditions of real conversation. You should begin measuring these abilities. After practice or a real conversation, do not ask only, "How many mistakes did I make?" Ask, "Did my body remain open? Did I use enough breath to finish the sentence? Did movement help me organize the answer? Did I recover after losing a word? Did I stay present after being interrupted? Did my voice and body carry the same meaning? Did I complete the thought without physically shrinking?" These questions reveal progress that grammar correction alone cannot show. You may discover that an answer contained mistakes but represented major improvement because you remained calm and completed it. You may also discover that a grammatically accurate answer felt weak because you rushed, hid your voice, and avoided expressing the full meaning. Both lessons matter. Accuracy improves the language. Physical awareness improves access to the language. You need both. There will be times when movement feels awkward. You may become overly conscious of your hands or worry that you look unnatural. This usually happens during the transition from controlled practice to spontaneous use. Do not solve this problem by returning to complete stillness, simplify the movement. Instead of using large gestures, reduce them to small shifts. Use one hand rather than both. Let the gesture happen near the body. Focus on one important transition instead of moving throughout the whole sentence. For example, if you are comparing 2 ideas, you may only need a small shift from left to right. If you are listing 3 points, showing 3 fingers once may be enough. If you are giving a conclusion, one grounding movement can support the final meaning. Natural body language is selective. The purpose is not to decorate every sentence. It is to support the moments where meaning changes direction. You should also learn to recognize when movement is distracting you from communication. If you are thinking more about the gesture than the idea, return to meaning. Ask what the sentence is doing. Is it showing growth? Is it presenting 2 sides? Is it moving from problem to solution? Is it describing an emotion? Is it placing an event in the past? Once the relationship is clear, let the body respond in the smallest natural way. The gesture should emerge from the thought. The thought should not be forced to fit the gesture. This keeps the method human. You are not building a fixed sign language system. You are using physical meaning to support spoken language. Different learners may create different movements for the same word, and that is acceptable. One learner may show confidence through open posture. Another may use a steady forward movement. Another may connect it to lifting the head. The important question is whether the movement strengthens the learner's connection to the meaning. Your physical system should feel personal because your memories, emotions, and natural body language are personal. The same principle applies to facial expression. Some learners naturally express emotion through the face, while others use subtler reactions. You do not need to imitate an exaggerated speaker. You need enough expression for the emotional meaning to feel honest. If the sentence expresses surprise, allow the face and voice to respond. If it expresses disappointment, do not force a cheerful tone. If it expresses certainty, let the sentence sound grounded. If it expresses uncertainty, allow the voice to show thoughtful hesitation without collapsing. Matching physical expression with verbal meaning improves authenticity. It also helps memory because emotion becomes connected to the phrase. Consider, I was relieved when the problem was finally solved. If your shoulders release slightly and the voice softens, relieved becomes physically meaningful. Now compare, I was frustrated because the same problem kept returning. A blocked or repeated hand movement may support frustrated. Then, I felt proud because I completed the task without giving up. A steadier posture may support proud. The words become easier to retrieve because they have been practiced as experiences rather than definitions. You can strengthen this through emotional contrast exercises. Say, I was nervous at the beginning, but I became more confident as the conversation continued. Let the body move from closed to open. I felt disappointed by the result, but the experience taught me something important. Let the emotion shift from heaviness toward reflection. I was afraid to answer, but I knew remaining silent would make me regret the moment later. Move from hesitation toward decision. These sentences teach your body to carry emotional change, which is essential for storytelling and authentic conversation. Another advanced practice is perspective movement. Physical space can help you express not only two objects or options, but also different people's viewpoints. Place your opinion near yourself. Place another person's opinion on the opposite side. Say, from my perspective, the plan is moving too quickly. From the manager's perspective, the speed is necessary because the deadline is close. Now bring the ideas toward the center. A better solution may be to keep the deadline but reduce the amount of work included in the first stage. The body helps you hold multiple viewpoints without confusing them. This is useful in discussions, negotiations, essays spoken aloud, and professional conversations. Try. Some learners believe they need more vocabulary. Others believe confidence is the main problem. I think both are connected because unused vocabulary remains difficult to access under pressure. Give each viewpoint a space, then bring them into one conclusion. This allows you to speak about complex ideas while reducing mental overload. You can also use space to explain time. Place the past behind or to one side, the present near you, and the future ahead. Say, in the past, I spent most of my time memorizing grammar rules. Now, I practice complete speaking patterns with movement. In the future, I want to use English confidently in professional conversations. The physical timeline supports tense and sequence. Try a professional example. Last month, the team focused on research. This month, we are testing the first version. Next month, we will review the results and decide what needs to change. Time becomes visible. This can reduce tense confusion because the body helps anchor events in different periods. Another advanced pattern is level movement. Use higher and lower space for importance, intensity, growth, or priority. Say, the first task is useful, but the second task has a much higher priority. Place the second physically higher or more forward. Sales increased during the first quarter but began falling again in April. Show the rise and fall. My confidence was low at the beginning, but daily speaking practice gradually raised it. The body carries change. Again, these movements may become subtle during real conversations. Their purpose during learning is to give abstract relationships a physical form. When English becomes physically organized, long explanations feel less crowded. The ideas are not all floating inside the same mental space. They have position, direction, sequence, and relationship. This is especially helpful when answering deeper questions. Suppose someone asks, "What does success mean to you?" You may have several connected ideas: financial stability, meaningful work, family, health, freedom, and peace. Without structure, the answer may become overloaded. Use physical organization. Place financial stability on one side. Financial security matters because it reduces constant worry. Place meaningful work on another. But success also means doing work that feels valuable. Bring family and health closer to the body. For me, success would feel incomplete without time, health, and strong relationships. Then ground the conclusion. So I do not define success as having more of everything. I define it as having enough of what truly matters. The body has helped you carry complexity toward one clear ending. This is far more powerful than memorizing a perfect answer. You can change the wording while preserving the thoughtful structure. The more often you practice in this way, the more your English begins reflecting your real intelligence and personality. You stop reducing every idea to one safe sentence. You develop enough physical organization to explain reasons, examples, contrasts, emotions, and conclusions. The language becomes large enough to carry more of who you are. This is one of the deepest benefits of movement-based speaking. It is not merely faster vocabulary retrieval. It is fuller self-expression. Your hands can hold two ideas long enough for you to compare them. Your posture can help you stay present while expressing disagreement. Your breath can give an emotional sentence enough space. Your facial expression can carry meaning that vocabulary alone cannot fully show. Your movement can protect the structure of a story when the exact wording changes. Your body becomes an ally in revealing your real thoughts. To complete this transformation, you must use English in increasingly unpredictable situations. Predictable practice builds foundation. Unpredictable practice builds readiness. Begin with questions you know, then ask someone else to select questions for you. Use random topics. Respond to short video clips. Pause a podcast and give your opinion. Look at an image and describe what may have happened before and what may happen next. Choose an object and explain why it is useful. Open a news-free general topic such as education, work habits, technology, relationships, travel, or motivation, and speak for 2 minutes without preparing a script. Use the body to create structure. State the main idea, give a reason, show an example, introduce another side. Reach a conclusion. You may struggle, that is the point. You are teaching the speaking system to remain active when the language has not been prepared in advance. Suppose the random topic is working from home. You say, working from home offers 2 major advantages. Show 2 points. The first is greater control over the environment. Place the first. The second is the time saved by avoiding travel. Place the second. Then create contrast. However, home working can also reduce spontaneous communication between team members. Move to the other side. Give a conclusion. I think it works best when people have clear goals and regular opportunities to collaborate. The answer has structure even though it was not memorized. Now the topic changes to failure. You bring the idea closer. Failure feels painful because it challenges the way we see ourselves. Move forward, but it can also reveal weaknesses that success allows us to ignore. Give an example. For example, a failed presentation may show that confidence without preparation is not enough. Land. The real value of failure appears when we use the information instead of turning the experience into shame. The body carries another completely different topic through a familiar thought pattern. This is automatic flexibility. You are not automatic because the answer is fixed. You are automatic because the process of building the answer has become familiar. You can also practice interruption recovery deliberately. Ask someone to interrupt you after 30 seconds. When they do, hold the unfinished structure physically. Answer their question, then return. You may say, before the question, I was explaining the second reason. Use the physical location you had assigned. Or, returning to the main point. Movement helps because it gives meaning more than one memory connection. Interruption stops feeling like the destruction of the answer. It becomes a temporary movement away from the path. This is essential because real conversations are not speeches. People react, ask, disagree, and change direction. Your speaking instinct must include returning. Another advanced practice is speed variation. Speak the same sentence slowly, normally, and slightly faster while keeping the physical meaning stable. Take. I began speaking more confidently when I stopped trying to control every word. First, say it slowly with clear sections. Then say it at a natural conversational speed. Finally, say it slightly faster without losing breath, stress, or movement. The goal is not maximum speed, it is maintaining physical organization while the pace changes. If the sentence breaks at a faster pace, return to normal speed. The body needs more repetition. Try. The first option is cheaper, but the second gives us more control. Keep the 2 physical spaces clear at every speed. Try. I was nervous at first, but after a few minutes the conversation became easier. Keep the emotional change visible. This helps you develop speaking speed without sacrificing clarity. You can also practice volume variation. Speak quietly, at normal conversational volume, and strongly enough for a larger room. Notice how breath support changes. Many learners know English at a private volume but lose control when they must speak loudly enough for several people to hear. Their throat tightens because they try to create volume through force rather than breath. Practice allowing the air and open posture to carry the voice. Say, I would like to add one important point. Use a calm, normal volume. Then imagine addressing a group. Maintain the same relaxed jaw and increase support, not tension. The goal is not shouting, it is teaching the body that English can remain clear at different levels of visibility. This helps in classrooms, meetings, presentations, and public situations. Another useful practice is emotional pressure simulation. Choose a topic that matters to you, not only a neutral subject. Explain a decision you regret. Describe something you strongly believe. Talk about a time you felt misunderstood. Express a disagreement you usually hide. Describe a future goal that feels personally important. These topics create more pressure because the meaning is connected to identity. Use movement to remain grounded. Suppose you say, "One decision I regret was remaining silent when I knew something was wrong." Bring the meaning close. I was afraid that speaking would create conflict, so I told myself that silence was safer. Show the conflict. But the problem continued, and my silence slowly became part of it. Move toward consequence. I learned that avoiding one uncomfortable conversation can create a much larger emotional cost. Land the lesson. The body supports your ability to express deeper meaning without becoming lost. You may feel emotion while practicing. That is not a problem. Emotion is part of authentic language. The goal is to let the body carry the emotion without allowing it to erase the sentence. This develops communication that is not only fluent but human. You should also practice listening with bodily awareness during real conversations. Do not wait passively for your turn while preparing a separate answer. Follow the other person's meaning physically. Notice whether they are describing a problem, offering two choices, telling a sequence, expressing emotion, or reaching a conclusion. Your body can quietly mirror the structure without copying the person visibly. If they say, "There are two reasons," hold the 2 points mentally or physically. If they describe a rise and fall, feel the direction. If they compare the past and present, place the periods in different spaces. This helps you remember what they said and respond more directly. Suppose the speaker says, "I like the new system because it saves time, but I am worried that people have not received enough training." You recognize two sides, benefit and concern. Your response can connect to the structure. I agree that the system may save time. My concern is similar to yours because the benefit will disappear if people do not know how to use it correctly. You are not producing a prepared answer. You are physically and mentally responding to their meaning. This makes conversation more natural. It also reduces anxiety because your attention remains on the shared message instead of turning completely towards self-monitoring. One of the final habits you must release is judging your body from the outside while speaking. You may wonder whether your gestures look strange, whether your face appears nervous, or whether your posture looks confident enough. Some awareness is useful, especially during recording and review, but constant self-observation divides attention. During real speaking, return to meaning. What are you trying to show? What does the listener need to understand? Which ideas belong together? Where is the sentence going? When attention stays connected to purpose, movement becomes more natural. Review yourself afterward, not every second during the sentence. Watch a recording once for language. Watch again for physical communication. Notice only one improvement at a time. Perhaps your gestures were helpful, but your shoulders remained tight. Perhaps your posture was open, but your sentence endings lost breath. Perhaps your hands organized the answer well, but your face did not reflect the emotion. Choose one adjustment. Do not try to become a perfect speaker overnight. Physical fluency develops through refinement. The body learns when practice remains challenging but manageable. If you attack every detail, the body returns to tension. Progress must remain specific and patient. You may decide, "Tomorrow, I will focus on keeping my shoulders relaxed." Then, "I will practice landing the final 3 words clearly." Then, "I will use one natural contrast gesture." Then, "I will hold my physical structure after an interruption." These small improvements eventually combine. After enough repetition, other people may notice that your English sounds more confident, expressive, and natural. They may assume you learned more vocabulary or improved grammar dramatically. Those things may have improved too, but much of the difference will come from physical coordination. Your breath is steadier. Your words have rhythm. Your hands support the thought. Your body remains visible. Your voice no longer fades near the ending. Your mistakes do not physically destroy you. The message appears larger because your whole system carries it. This is the difference between knowing a language and inhabiting it. When you only know English, you search for it. When you begin inhabiting English, your body recognizes how to move inside it. The language becomes connected to the way you point, compare, remember, react, explain, disagree, and tell stories. You are not borrowing English temporarily. You are building a physical English identity. This does not erase your first language or replace who you are. It gives your personality another way to move through the world. Your English voice may sound different from your first language voice at first. It may feel less expressive, more careful, and physically smaller. As the body learns, that distance begins closing. Your humor starts appearing. Your opinions become fuller. Your emotional tone becomes more accurate. Your stories gain movement. Your questions feel more natural. Your disagreement becomes calmer and clearer. The English version of you stops feeling like a reduced copy. It becomes another authentic expression of the same person. That is one of the most meaningful outcomes of this method. You are not only building speaking speed, you are allowing more of yourself to be heard. To protect this progress, do not make movement another temporary technique you use for 1 week and then abandon. Keep it connected to daily speaking until the physical patterns become dependable. You do not need to practice every gesture forever. As words and sentence structures become automatic, visible movement may reduce naturally. That is a sign of development. The external gesture becomes internal physical memory. You may no longer move your hand fully upward when saying increase, but you still feel the direction. You may no longer place every option visibly on different sides, but your mind and body still organize them spatially. You may not consciously prepare your breath, but the body begins doing it before longer sentences. You may not deliberately ground the conclusion, but your voice naturally lands. The practice changes form as the skill matures. Do not remove the support too early. If a particular word, phrase, or speaking situation still causes freezing, bring the movement back. Rebuild the connection through deliberate practice. Training is not a straight path from visible gesture to no gesture. You may need stronger movement when learning, subtle movement during conversation, and renewed deliberate movement when correcting a weak pattern. Use the amount of support the skill needs. Another way to protect progress is to build a personal movement library. This does not need to be a written list of hundreds of gestures. It can be a small collection of physical patterns that support the speaking functions you use most often. Your library may include a gesture for presenting the main idea, 2 spaces for comparison, a forward movement for result, a backward position for the past, an open hand for examples, a grounding movement for conclusions, a hand near the chest for personal meaning, a repeated forward rhythm for sequence, a calm pause posture for thinking, a stable correction movement for mistakes. These patterns can support thousands of words and topics. The value is not in the number of gestures, it is in the flexibility of the speaking functions they represent. You do not need a separate gesture for every possible noun. You need physical tools for organizing common relationships between ideas. Once these relationships become automatic, your English becomes more coherent. The listener can follow you because your body and voice reveal structure. You can follow yourself because the thought has a physical path. This is especially useful when speaking for longer periods. A 2-minute answer no longer feels like a single giant sentence you must remember. It becomes a series of physical movements: main point, reason, example, opposite side, personal experience, conclusion. Each landing gives you a new place from which to continue. You can practice this through the expanding time challenge. Choose one question and answer for 30 seconds, then answer the same question for 1 minute, then for 2 minutes. Do not repeat the same sentence. Add layers through physical structure. Question: why is speaking practice important? 30 seconds. Speaking practice is important because understanding English does not automatically make it available during conversation. The mouth needs repeated experience producing complete thoughts. 1 minute. Add a personal observation and example. Many learners can recognize words while reading but cannot retrieve them under pressure. For example, they may understand a question perfectly and still need too much time to answer. Speaking practice builds the physical pathway between meaning and response. 2 minutes. Add another side, a practical method, and conclusion. However, speaking practice should not mean repeating random sentences without meaning. It becomes more effective when learners connect language to real situations, body movement, voice, and emotion. The goal is not only to speak more, but to practice the exact actions needed during conversation. That is how passive knowledge becomes dependable speaking ability. Your body organizes each layer. This challenge builds stamina without encouraging uncontrolled speech. Another final skill is learning to end confidently. Learners often continue talking after the main message has landed because they fear the silence that follows. They add weak phrases, repeat the conclusion, or open another idea they cannot finish. Body awareness can help you recognize completion. When the conclusion arrives, let the gesture settle. Let the voice come down naturally. Keep the posture open. Pause. Do not immediately fill the silence. Say, "The most important change was learning to trust the meaning instead of controlling every word. Let it land." Or, "Movement helped me because it gave my English a physical path." Stop. Or, "My goal is not to perform perfect English. It is to communicate naturally and completely." Allow the ending to remain. This physical completion creates authority. You are not asking the listener whether the thought was good enough. You are placing the meaning clearly and giving it space. The ability to stop is part of speaking control. Just as your body must know how to begin, it must know when the message has completed its work. Now imagine the learner you were before beginning this method. Perhaps you learned English almost entirely through the eyes. You read, watched, memorized, and understood. But when speaking began, your body became a barrier. Your hands froze. Your breathing became shallow. Your jaw tightened. Your voice lost energy. Your thoughts became trapped behind physical hesitation. Now imagine the speaker you are building. The question arrives, and you breathe. The main idea receives a physical center. Your hands organize the reasons. Your voice follows the emotional meaning. Your body creates contrast, sequence, and direction. A word disappears, but movement keeps the meaning alive. A mistake appears, but your posture remains steady. Someone interrupts, but your physical anchor protects the unfinished point. The sentence becomes difficult, but the body knows how to return. This is not a magical transformation that happens in one day. It is the result of hundreds of small physical victories. You answered while nervous. You moved instead of freezing. You described instead of surrendering. You breathed instead of rushing. You organized instead of crowding the sentence. You recovered instead of restarting. You finished instead of fading. Every victory teaches your nervous system that English is not only a source of pressure, it is an action the body can manage. One day, the movements you once practiced deliberately will appear without conscious instruction. You will speak about the past, and the body will naturally place it behind you. You will compare ideas, and the space between them will feel obvious. You will give 3 reasons, and your hand will organize them. You will explain emotion, and your voice and face will respond honestly. You will forget a word and continue describing the meaning without panic. You may not even notice these changes immediately. You will simply realize that speaking feels less heavy. The English is no longer being dragged from memory one word at a time. It is moving through a system that recognizes the action. That is the moment when physical practice becomes instinct. Your body does not replace your mind. It releases what your mind knows. Your movement does not replace vocabulary. It gives vocabulary additional roads. Your gestures do not replace grammar. They help grammar carry relationships between ideas. Your breath does not create the thought. It gives the thought enough energy to reach the end. Your posture does not produce confidence by itself. It makes it easier to remain present while confidence is still growing. Every part works together. This is what fluent speaking has always been. Not one perfect skill, but many small systems cooperating so quickly that the speaker experiences them as one natural action. From today, stop asking your brain to perform the entire conversation alone. Let the body share the work. Let your hands hold today. Stop asking your brain to perform the entire conversation alone. Let the body share the work, the structure. Let your posture protect the voice. Let your breathing carry the complete thought. Let your face and tone reveal the emotion. Let physical memory bring vocabulary closer. Let movement keep you connected when pressure appears. You have already taught your body thousands of difficult actions. You taught it how to walk without planning every step. You taught it how to write without consciously controlling every finger. You taught it how to use tools, prepare food, open doors, operate devices, and move through familiar environments. Those actions became natural because you repeated them with purpose until the body recognized the pattern. English speaking can move through the same process. At first you guide every movement. Then the movement becomes familiar. Then the complete phrase becomes easier. Then the body begins predicting the speaking pattern. Then the language and movement appear together. Finally, you stop thinking about the method because the method has become part of how you communicate. This is your destination. not a body that performs artificial gestures. A body that knows how to support real English, not a mouth that repeats memorized scripts. A mouth that can rebuild meaning through familiar physical pathways, not a speaker who never feels pressure. A speaker whose body knows how to return from pressure. Not a learner who waits for perfect readiness. A communicator who trusts movement, breath, rhythm, and meaning enough to begin. So continue practicing until words have direction. Continue until phrases have rhythm. Continue until stories have physical paths. Continue until pauses feel controlled. Continue until mistakes remain small. Continue until your voice no longer disappears when someone starts listening. Continue until English is no longer something your mind knows while your body resists. Let it enter your posture. Let it enter your breath. Let it enter your gestures. Let it enter your reactions, memories, emotions, and daily actions. Let English become connected to the way you physically experience the world. Because the final goal is not to remember more English while remaining unable to release it. The goal is to create a speaking system that can carry meaning when memory is slow, confidence is imperfect, and the conversation is real. That system already exists inside you. Your body has always known how to support communication. It moves when you explain. It reacts when you feel. It creates rhythm when you speak naturally. It shows size, direction, contrast, sequence, and emotion without needing formal instruction. You are not creating something completely new. You are reconnecting English to a physical intelligence your first language has been using for years. Give that intelligence permission to enter your English. Do not silence the hands. Do not trap the breath. Do not flatten the voice. Do not close the posture. Do not ask the brain to search alone. Stand inside the meaning. Move with the thought. Feel the direction. Let the sentence become an action. Then repeat that action until your whole body recognizes it. When that recognition becomes strong enough, speaking will no longer begin with the question, "What words should I use?" It will begin with meaning that already knows how to move. Your body will guide the structure. Your mouth will follow the rhythm. Your voice will carry the emotion. And English will begin leaving you not as information you carefully remembered, but as communication your entire body has learned how to perform. You began this journey believing English lived mainly inside your mind. You thought fluency depended on remembering more words, understanding more grammar, and thinking faster before every sentence. But now you understand something deeper. Speaking is not only knowledge. It is a complete physical action involving your breath, mouth, voice, hands, posture, rhythm, emotion, and attention. Your body was never separate from your English. It was simply left out of the learning process. For years you may have tried to force every sentence through thought alone. You searched for words, controlled your grammar, watched yourself speaking, and became physically still whenever pressure appeared. Your mind carried the full weight of the conversation while your body tightened around the language. Now that can begin to change. When you learn a word, give it movement. When you practice a phrase, give it rhythm. When you compare two ideas, give each one a physical space. When you tell a story, let your body move through the beginning, difficulty, change, and lesson. When pressure appears, return to your breath, relax your posture, and reconnect with the one meaning you want to deliver. You do not need to perform dramatic gestures or move constantly. The goal is not to look like someone using a method. The goal is to build physical connections so strong that your body begins supporting English without waiting for conscious instructions. At first, you will guide the movement deliberately. Later, the movement will become smaller. Eventually, the visible exercise will disappear, but the physical memory will remain. Your hands will naturally organize ideas. Your breathing will support longer thoughts. Your voice will carry emotion more honestly. Your posture will remain steadier under pressure. Your mouth will begin recognizing familiar speaking patterns before every word has been carefully prepared. That is how English becomes more than information. It becomes instinct. Remember that the goal is not perfect movement, perfect pronunciation, or perfect sentences. The goal is dependable communication. You want English that remains available when someone asks an unexpected question, when one word disappears, when your confidence is imperfect, and when the conversation refuses to follow your plan. A powerful speaker is not someone who never struggles. A powerful speaker knows how to continue through struggle. Movement gives you another road when memory becomes slow. Breath gives the sentence enough strength to reach the ending. Rhythm helps separate ideas. Physical space helps organize contrast, sequence, causes, and results. Your entire body can help the meaning survive. From today, do not practice English as though your body is supposed to remain silent. Stand up when possible. Speak aloud. Use your hands. Let your face respond naturally. Allow your voice to rise, settle, slow down, and carry emotion. Connect English to real objects, decisions, experiences, problems, and moments from your daily life. Do not only study the word open. Open something while saying it. Do not only memorize, move forward. Step forward and feel the direction. Do not only learn confidence. Practice the posture, breath, and voice of someone who remains present even when the sentence is imperfect. The language becomes easier to recall when the body has experienced the meaning. Continue with small daily practice. 5 useful words, 2 speaking patterns, 1 unexpected question, 1 personal story. A few focused minutes every day can slowly build a speaking system that hours of silent study may never create. There will still be difficult days. Your body may freeze in one conversation and move freely in another. A word may feel available today and disappear tomorrow. Do not use these moments as proof that the method has failed. Physical fluency grows through repetition, variety, and recovery. Every time you return to breath instead of panicking, the body learns. Every time you use a gesture to recover a missing word, the body learns. Every time you maintain your posture after a mistake, the body learns. Every time you complete a thought instead of abandoning it, the body learns. Every real conversation leaves behind physical evidence that English can be carried. One day, you will notice that your hands are moving naturally while you explain something. You will realize your voice is stronger without being forced. You will compare 2 ideas without losing the second one. You will forget a word, describe the meaning, and continue without treating the moment as a failure. You may not immediately recognize these changes as the result of practice. Speaking will simply feel lighter. The words will no longer seem trapped behind a wall of conscious control. The sentence will begin moving through a pathway your whole system recognizes. That is the transformation promised by the English body movement method. Not English that remains inside your notebook. Not English that appears only while reading. Not English that disappears the moment another person listens. English connected to your breath. English connected to your movement. English connected to your emotions, experiences, and daily life. English your body knows how to carry. So make one promise before you close this book. You will no longer practice English with your mind alone. You will give every important word a direction, every useful phrase a rhythm, every complete thought a physical path, and every real conversation the courage of your full presence. Move with the meaning. Breathe through the sentence. Let your voice carry the emotion. Keep your body open when pressure tells it to close. Then speak until movement, language, and thought become one natural action. This is not only how you remember English, this is how you begin to embody it. Thank you for completing the English Body Movement Method, published by English Mindset Academy. Keep moving with every word, keep practicing with your whole body, and remember, English becomes natural when it is no longer something you only know, but something your entire body remembers how to do.